Good evening and welcome back to WillBrattonWx. We got a new overlay. There's all sorts of stuff going on, but right now we need to jump right into things, at least for a little bit, as we do have a tornado warning in place in Indiana for Posey County right now. This one is out here near New Harmony in Wadesville. And you will see it cycle through the bottom right-hand corner of your screen in this new part of our overlay. So you can definitely stay up to date with that as well. It'll cycle through all the warnings that you need to know down there. It'll also cycle through the Storm Prediction Center's outlooks and various other things as well. This overlay is really, really cool. You'll also notice that when new tornado warnings are issued, there are some pretty cool sounds that go with that, including the OG Tom EAS voice reading everything out for us. So tons of thought has been put into this. I think it's turned out unbelievably well. It was worth the wait. I see lots of familiar faces in the chat. I see Cruz, Patrick, Sleeveless Joe. We got John Sage, Logan in the chat. We got Michelle, Texas Indoor Baseball, Kaysen out there, Tufts Weather. C. Gray in the chat. Bethany out there as well. My mom in the chat. Evan Heemstra in the chat. Braden out there. Ben, our editor, tapping in from New Mexico right now. It is good to see everybody. Yeah, this overlay is really, really, really good. Bethany says, hello, new sub, by the way. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for subscribing. It does mean a lot. See Alan out there in the chat, too, one of our storm chasers, as this tornado warning really kind of showed up out of nowhere. We were sitting here working on a bunch of other stuff and kind of waiting for a decent time to go live, as the map's been pretty quiet. We have 5 severe thunderstorm warnings on the map, plus this tornado warning. But since the tornado warning popped up, we were like, all right, we should just go live now. But this one is to the south and southwest of Poseyville. I see Juan out there too. Good to see you. But you'll see tons of things down there in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. We also have a lot of cool new features with this overlay that we'll get into in a little bit, including the ability to tap into live traffic cameras around the entire United States. See if we can, Blake, we could see if we can get some for what's going on out here right now in Indiana. All right. So I do need to turn the overlay down a little bit in terms of how loud the audio is, so you guys don't get your ears punctured. Kathy out there, how does Corydon, Indiana look for tonight? I don't know exactly where that is, but I can find it. Okay, so what is that on the other side of the river from? Yeah, all right. So on the other side of the river from Louisville, essentially, Corydon out here could see an isolated storm where any of these storms could technically pose a slight tornadic risk. I'm not expecting anything crazy this evening, but again, you can get these different mesoscale accidents, if you will, that pop up these random tornado warnings. In just generally storms that could produce a tornado, like what we're seeing out here for Posey County, Indiana right now. Really anywhere in this region could easily see a random pop-up tornado this afternoon and evening, as we are dealing with an MCV. So some localized low pressure at the surface, storms are rotating around it. Other severe thunderstorms around the map are in Florida, North Carolina, Arizona, Arkansas, and Florida at the moment. Legacy Adventures in the chat. Johnny Melancholy in the chat. Definitely let me know what you guys think of our new overlays here, as I can quickly show off a couple of these features in just a second. Okay, so one thing you're going to see across the bottom of your screen right now is the Storm Prediction Center's day one outlook. So you can take a look at that with that whole animation deal going on at the bottom. It's going to go through the areas of risk today. It'll go through your slight risk regions and your marginal risk regions, excuse me, not moderate. So you can follow along with that in the bottom, across the bottom of the screen. After that, we can run through the active watches that are in place here once we get through that tornado, wind, and hail outlook as well. So this thing is pretty sweet. This is quite the interesting tornado warning, to be honest with you. They kind of issued it after that rotation had already sort of dissipated out a little bit, as this thing looks a lot more outflow dominant right now. But there is a little bit of radar interference here. I guess I could go up like 2 tilt angles and get a better look. Okay, that rotation is still there, a couple of tilt angles up, so not a bad warning at all. It definitely looks a little more outflow dominance at the lowest levels anyway, but still not the type of warning where I'm sitting here like this one's putting down a tornado right now, but definitely not the type of warning where I'm like there shouldn't be a warning there. It's kind of in that middle area. All right, so at the bottom of your screen, you're also now about to see a little segment come through that's going to go through all of the watches that are going on in just a minute. Oh, did I just click the wrong? What did I do? Oh no, there we go. It's working. So it's going to cycle through all of those watches now. And at the top of your screen, we'll also be able to take a look at all of the active alerts in a second here. As you can see, that rotation does look a little more present now that a little bit of that radar interference has cleaned up. So definitely a solid warning here issued. All right, and at the top of your screen right now, you're going to see a breakdown of all the alert counts going on. So right now you're going to see we have one tornado, radar indicated tornado warning at the moment. It's also going to cycle through all your severe thunderstorm warnings and flash flood warnings as well. Okay, Blake, do we have some cameras pulled up? Okay, we can push them then. Swap that to 3 cam mode. There we go. So now on the left-hand side of your screen, you are going to see a bunch of traffic cameras in the general area here. But what we can see is that up there in Augusta, Arkansas, things are looking very windy. And then down in the bottom, you'll see a camera for Evansville at the moment. It's Kevin on an alternate account. Seems like our warning is increasing rotation. Yeah, I think that rotation has kind of been present. It's just been dealing with radar interference here. As you can see, these purples in the inflow, essentially. But if you go back in time a little bit, that rotation due west of Wadesville was definitely there. I think it's been there the whole way, because if we go up in the tilt angles, as we go back in time, that rotation was still there at around 2,000 feet. And again, we're close to the radar here. So this rotation we're seeing is somewhat weak, but it's at 700 feet. So if it locally intensifies just a little bit, we could easily get a tornado spat out from there. X. Good call. Do the Cards hate the Brewers? I don't think we have anything particularly against the Brewers. Yeah, we are going to have cameras looking out this direction here not long from now. And all these traffic cameras we're looking at are near Evansville. I'm going to switch to a different camera mode really quickly just to show you that what's going on in Arkansas right now. There is quite a bit of rain out there. And in the background, what you'll see is, if I can make sure I remember exactly what camera we are looking at here. Yeah, this should be down here, not far from Little Rock. So it's in this general area. We're at the bottom-ish of your screen. These storms down here, that's about what we're looking at. As this storm is in McRae. So that's what you're seeing at the bottom of your screen here. I can circle it. There's McRae. So that's where this camera is, right in the middle of this line of storms. That is severe thunderstorm warning tagged for 60-mile-per-hour winds. A lot of cars on the interstate down there. And you'll notice that a lot of them are driving a little slower. Some of them have their hazards on because you can see those waves of rain flying across the highway there. You can also see some bits of water getting sprayed up in the middle of the highway as some of these vehicles are passing over it. And of course, the main concern right the second is our tornado warning that is not far from Evansville and kind of headed back that direction, as it definitely looks decently strong. If we go up in the tilt angles a little higher even, you'll notice that rotation looks even just a little better. And this is around 6,000 feet. So it's got good mid-level rotation as well. And at the lowest levels, we are seeing that rotation is pretty tight, although not very intense. But this is at 760 feet. So, easily could be producing a tornado. This warning was just shaved down a little bit. You'll notice that polygon's been shrunken down just a tad. So that's, again, this is Posey County, Indiana right now. No, the cameras are not random. We select which cameras we want to show at any given time. I don't know what that noise was. I have pictures from Evansville we're driving through. Where can I post? You can toss them into our Discord and we can show them, or you can submit them to us directly on our websites. Mods can provide that link for you in the chat here. There you go. You'll see report weather and submit media via our website. So you can click that link, or you can just post it on Twitter and tag us. We'll find it. Whatever works best for you. Alrighty. Yeah, in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, you'll also notice the map there that's going to cycle through different warnings that are on the map. You'll also see the state outline in the very bottom rightmost corner there. Loud keyboard, yeah, I know. What am I thinking about Tuesday? Honestly, I'm not really thinking much about Tuesday in general. I think the weather is going to dramatically calm down here coming up soon. I mean, I think Tuesday in like Maine, we could definitely see some action there. It's more of a setup for the Canadian prairie up there. And then as we get towards next weekend, though, there's a very strong signature recognized by the Storm Prediction Center back in the Mid-Atlantic, where there's already on the day 7 outlook. I can show this really quick. There's already a 15% region in the Mid-Atlantic for the day 7 outlook. So this is for Friday, this coming Friday. So that's definitely something to watch out for to see how it develops. And again, that rotation is still there. It looks a little bit more broad and a little bit weaker on the last couple of radar scans. So we'll see if they opt to continue this warning or not. I will say that outflow boundary has definitely subsided enough here where you've definitely got inflow coming into the storm. So I think this storm will survive for now anyway, and continue to pose a little bit of a risk for producing a tornado. Should we expect a full-blown tornado outbreak? Honestly, I don't know. I haven't forecasted that far ahead for next Friday. I wish I could give you a better answer, but I have not. I genuinely haven't forecasted that far out yet. I haven't even read the Storm Prediction Center's discussion as I've been a little bit sick, and then we've been working on a bunch of stuff trying to get this overlay ready to go and everything. So I have not yet done that forecasting. But on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, we're going to have a forecast video coming out that's going to break down everything that you need to know with all of my analysis and meteorological forecasting. So there will be plenty to talk about. Blake, I love how you're just like casually updating the cameras, like to make sure that good ones are on there. That's good. It's good stuff. I'm going to check in really quickly. You can still follow on the left-hand side of your screen where we have a couple of cameras in place. East of Tallahassee, we have a severe thunderstorm warning right now for 60-mile-per-hour winds. It's going to include areas like Monticello, Drifton, Wakena, and Lamont. Then we also have another one in Florida near Jacksonville, basically over Jacksonville. That one's going to be for 60-mile-per-hour winds and some smaller hail as well. And then into North Carolina for Johnson and Wake counties. This is southeast of Raleigh. We're looking at near Wilson Mills, a stronger storm here, capable of producing those 60-mile-per-hour winds. And then finally in Arizona, Santa Cruz County. And there's also a flash flood warning in place here as well in Arizona. This one's just going to be for 60-mile-per-hour winds. This is just a really elevated storm here. You'll notice you got to go way up in the tilt angles to actually find this storm. So not the type that you're going to see at the low levels, of course, but when we can go up to composite reflectivity, you can see a stronger storm is in place here. So possibly one of those drier thunderstorms that isn't producing a ton of precipitation, very elevated, a lot of virga. And then these things are just plummeting mass down to the surface eventually. And then all that mass spreads out. And of course, you get some really strong surface winds as a result of those. All right, back to our tornado warning in Indiana. I'm in Henderson, Kentucky. Should I be worried? Where's Henderson? I'm not seeing Henderson within this warning polygon. I mean, the warning polygon's okay. Here's Henderson. Gotcha. Because the warning polygon's entirely within Indiana. I would definitely keep your head on a swivel in Henderson, as this storm is continuing to move really more towards Evansville. But it's definitely possible that one of these storms could also become tornadic as well. So definitely make sure that you are prepared in Henderson just in case. Did you guys develop your own system for the traffic cams? Yes, we did. We've had some very talented people on the case. I wish I could take credit for it. I can take credit for telling people to do things, but I can't take credit for making it. So the overlay is incredible. Same deal with our website. Our website's absolutely incredible. I can't thank the people enough who have made those things possible. All I do is foot the bill with that type of stuff. Now, it looks like this rotation has weakened a decent amount, but it is still there, especially slightly higher up in the atmosphere. Yeah, it's a little bit it's a much messier setup now than it was before. Yeah, thank you for the kind words. I agree. It looks absolutely amazing. I'm not gonna lie. I could not be happier with how it turned out, and I genuinely, wholeheartedly believe that as of right this second, we have the best website and the best overlays in the entire meteorology space. And I'm saying that not to my own credit. That's to the people who made these things, which wasn't me. Whoa. We got some decently strong mid-level rotation going on here. 6,000 feet out here in northeastern Arkansas. So this is something to look at. That's okay. Is this tornado possible tagged? It is tornado possible tagged. Adrian's cracking me up. Also, I think you keep forgetting we can't see the very. Yep, I do keep forgetting that. This is very true. That's a learning curve for me when it comes to this. Yeah, you guys can only see the right side of my radar for the most part when I have these cameras on the map. I'm in Kingston. Should I be scared too? Yeah. Which state are you in? Yeah, I would also support a tornado warning, especially from the Memphis radar's point of view. I don't know which WFO this is, but looking from the Memphis radar, I mean, at the mid levels, I will say it weakened on the latest scan, but it's very much still there. I mean, I personally would warn this. We're going to get a new velocity update in just a second here, so we'll find out. One thing that you will notice here over the the next maybe month or two while we're using GR Analyst is that my overlay is going to have the warnings come in slightly before they show up on GR2. And there's nothing I can do about that. Okay, that rotation has weakened a little bit in Arkansas. So let's check in on what's going on with Indiana here. Okay. In my own streams, I try to size things on my screen to how they appear on the stream because if not, I will completely forget. Yeah, no, I know. We've had the same learning curve going on with like our old overlay too, but it just wasn't as bad because we had the cameras a lot smaller on the old overlay, which are polling rate and source. My polling rate's as high as it lets me go. I can't configure it without stopping polling, which I'm not going to do while we have a tornado warning in place. But I think my polling rate's as fast as it'll let me do it. I think the issue is more of whoa. Okay. The issue is a little bit more potentially my source. I think I'm using Iowa. Yeah, that rotation has definitely broadened out a good amount. Okay, and our tornado warning has just been lifted. Why am I still hearing? I'm still hearing my old overlays chimes for some reasons. Okay. In Nashville, we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning in place for some stronger winds rolling through Charlotte, rolling through Charlotte right towards Nashville. So 60-mile-per-hour winds here, headed towards the Nashville area. Now, for anyone who knows about Nashville, you know they tend to lose power pretty easily. Our overlays are using a custom API that is very, very, very fast. That's part of the reason it's going to come in a lot faster than GR for me. Despite the fact that GR is generally pretty quick, but it's not going to be as quick as the custom API. And we will be switching things around in a couple of months. Subtle foreshadowing. We have a lot of really big things in the works. There is a little bit of rotation going on west of Ashland City. I don't know if this is, it's not tornado possible tagged. That rotation is pretty new. All right, let's check in on the rotation that was in Arkansas a little while ago, as that has definitely continued to broaden. But it is still there. It's just pretty broad. Possibly a supercell forming right now in Kentucky, southeast of Bowling Green, near Tracy, Austin, and Temple Hill. This one looks pretty interesting to me. This is definitely one to watch here, as it's pretty young, but it looks to be maturing rather quickly, and it's most certainly got rotation there. You can just tell by the morphology. You don't even need to have velocities to see this. All right. Morphology for the W, correct. If that blows up, could be a tornado producer. I completely agree. Am I expecting a heat watch for Wisconsin? I don't know, to be honest with you. I mean, the whole country has been pretty hot. And I know over the next few days, we're going to be getting some really extreme heat making its way into the northern plains, too. So I definitely wouldn't be surprised. You're the first nowcaster I've had point that out. Thank you. I thought I was crazy. Point what out? What'd I do? You're welcome, though. Been 116-degree heat index in Charleston twice this week. True. Morphology. I got you. Yeah, there's a lot of things to look at with a storm, not just looking at the velocity couplet. Like, we can take a cross section of storms like this And I'm not looking at the most recent radar scan, so it's going to be a little more difficult to see. But what you'll notice is we've got a little bit of a bounded weak echo region here. It's not perfect, but this type of morphology suggests a rotating updraft, whether you have a velocity couplet on radar or not. There's a lot more that goes into radar analysis than just looking at the velocity couplets when it comes to tornadic stuff. I think a lot of people make that mistake. They just really only care to look at the velocity couplets. Posted a pic from Henderson also. Okay, see if I can find it. Where? How do I want to do this? I guess I'll just go to the chat. I don't know where exactly you posted it. If you submitted it to our website or tagged us on Twitter or something. I don't think you tagged us on Twitter. One minute. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything from the submission form. Was it in Discord? What'd you do? It's in the general chat. Oh, okay. Ooh. All right, yeah, we'll show this really quick. That's a cool photo here. A very nice photo coming out here. Posted by T-Dame 2026 in our Discord server. Very, very cool photo coming out of the underside of what appears to be, you said Henderson, Kentucky. Let's see, what should we be, what are we looking at here exactly? Was that the Indiana one from earlier? Yeah, I guess it was. Perhaps. Oh, actually, I bet you were looking at this guy, this little mini supercell trying to get organized here near Hebbardsville or Niagara. I bet you were looking to your southeast. That's cool. That's a really cool photo right there. So thank you for sending that in. Yeah, that's a really unique view actually on a young supercell that has two different updrafts trying to compete right now. So what you'll notice here is that we have two different velocity couplets with this supercell. So we have two different updrafts trying to compete, or perhaps this could be a secondary updraft that's being split off from this one. So a little bit of a mini supercell forming out there. This one near Tracy is definitely intriguing me quite a bit, though. I mean, that is taking on that morphology for sure. Let's see if I can make this happen here. Still not looking at the latest scans, but you will still see you've got that bounded weak echo region. Again, it doesn't look amazing, and it's not connecting all the way down, but it is still there. So that is, again, indicative of a strong rotating updraft. How's my day off yesterday? It was nice. I've been feeling a little under the weather, so I really needed the rest. But we are here. Yeah. We're going to be showing a couple of cameras on the left-hand side of your screen here. These are all going to be two of them out of Arkansas, one of them in Tennessee. As you can see in Arkansas, really, that middle camera is a really cool view. You can see that storm off in the distance. And then you can also see where we've got some heavy precipitation coming down near Cabot, Arkansas. And then on that bottom camera, that's a really cool shot as well of some storms rolling through Tennessee. near Kingston Springs. And yeah, I'm still pretty interested in the cell near Tracy, as that one looks quite solid. Henderson is clouding up quick. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah. For when we get new photos in, by the way, if you guys can just throw them in that new live photos chat, it's probably the best way to get them to me easily. Whoa. I do a quick little video from our editor who's currently in New Mexico that I'll show really quick here of just some general storms that are blowing on through the region. Just some nice heavy rain out there near Ruidoso. Do I think we need a tornado warning on that storm in Kentucky? This one near Tracy, I would not be opposed to it. There's also more rotation north of Bowling Green near Richardsville, though that's a little bit. That one might be, well, I don't know, actually. We're getting it from both radar units, which suggests to me that it's not entirely rotation. Or not entirely side lobe contamination, excuse me. Yeah, a handful of storms that could be capable of producing a tornado at different times. But this one near Tracy has definitely caught my eye the most as of right this second here. Just uploaded some footage from today in Charleston, South Carolina to my weather photos channel. Okay. Can one of you guys forward that to the live photos chat? And then I will be able to pull it. Oh, wow. Let's see which of these to show. This is a really cool photo. This one's not even of like any type of severe weather, but I just want to show it because it's kind of cool. You're not going to be able to see it. There we go. I'll put it like here so you guys can see this. Just some really photogenic clouds and the sun coming through them there. Very, very beautiful sky there out from South Carolina. Thank you very much to Beth O for sending that in. Whoops. Yeah, this new system is fantastic for the way that we're doing things for the broadcast here. I live 5 miles from the Charleston Harbor, for reference. Sea breeze chaos today. Yeah, I bet you get that all the time out there. I noticed that it's more common for storms on the west to move west than it is for storms on the east to move west. Interesting. Yeah, we can jump it for a second. We're going to take a quick look here. What you're going to be noticing is out there in Tennessee near Kingston Springs, we got this very, very looming, ominous looking cloud beginning to roll through with some of these storms. And I don't know exactly where Kingston Springs is, actually. I should probably find that. But there's a lot of storms in general out in Tennessee right now. So there's that. Tons of storms out there. Where's it at? Okay, so this is just southwest of Nash. There it is, Kingston Springs. So this is just looking north, I believe. One of these kinks in the road that is looking north, I believe. And so a very large storm. And this is the one that is severe thunderstorm warned right now, producing those 60-mile-per-hour winds headed towards Nashville out of Ashland City and Charlotte in Tennessee here. Very nice, very nice. I like this new system a lot. Our storm nearest Tracy is still kicking. It's definitely got some rotation going on. This is just to the southwest of Mount Herman, near Tracy. We're on the Kentucky side of the border here in southern central Kentucky. So no tornado warnings live on the map right now, but a handful of severe thunderstorm warnings, including a pair down here in Arizona, where we do have some more elevated thunderstorms. You'll notice that it was over here near Patagonia where we had that severe thunderstorm warning earlier, but now we have two different ones that are out here in Arizona for areas like Safford and Clifton, Duncan, as well as back down towards Tombstone and Fairbank and Whetstone in Huachuca City. And a lot of these storms you'll notice, especially these ones that are close to the radar unit, are a little bit more elevated. So we got to go up in the tilt angles to actually see them. But these storms are absolutely there and could easily be producing those 60-mile-per-hour winds. In fact, if these ones look like they could even be producing a little bit of hail down near Fairbank and Tombstone. Out in Colorado for El Paso, Fremont, and Teller counties, this is just near Colorado Springs. We do have another severe thunderstorm warning that's been put in place. This one is going to be for up to ping pong ball sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds here. And they actually just issued a new severe thunderstorm warning on that one, as the previous one literally had a minute remaining on it. So this newer one is tagged for just 1-inch hail. All right, Kaysen, no problem, my friend. We are south of the cloud now. Can still see it heading towards Cadiz, Kentucky. Nice. Again, we are watching closely, really any of these storms around the map here that can have a little bit of mesoscale accident magic happen could become tornadic, but it's mostly concerning back up into this region of the country. Maybe a little bit further south there too. Something more like this, including some of these areas of Kentucky and Indiana as well. These are the primary areas I'm looking out for a possible spin-up tornado. Again, we already had a warning not long ago near Evansville, Indiana here. As that storm does still exist, not really tornadic by any stretch, though. We are looking at a storm in south central Kentucky near Tracy that is still catching my eye, as that rotation does look like it's been enhanced a little bit here lately. Perhaps. That was a little bit of contaminated data we were getting back from the Hopkinsville radar. But from the Nashville radar, we can still see that rotation is there. It's just not super impressive. Caleb, how are you? True, Blake. Very true. All right. Going right over my Tennessee place on the Alabama state line. Huh? Yeah, there is a lot of storms out here across Arkansas too. Yeah, Norway, Norway and England are still all squared up 1-1 as of right this minute. I will say that mid-level rotation really fizzled out a lot um, uh, out here in Arkansas near Fair Oaks. And I believe as a result, that tornado possible tag was lifted. Looks like, yeah. We are looking towards that storm from Heth, Arkansas, which you can see in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. I don't know exactly where that is, but it's somewhere. I guess I can find it. I can use my brain. Figure out exactly where it is very easily. Okay. It's basically in the middle of my screen here. Anyway. Yeah, still watching the storms near Nashville, though. As it looks like definitely a stronger one here, producing some pretty strong winds, maybe 60 plus miles per hour as we get towards Nashville here, especially just northwest of town near Ashland City. It would not shock me to see a measured wind gust that is above 60 miles per hour, which would force this to be upgraded to a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. We are going to get an update on our velocities here in just a minute with this storm. It's not exactly moving fast. Whoa. Okay, let's make that big. All right, we have a really cool view here that you're seeing on this traffic camera westbound of Forest City, Arkansas. As that is really cool looking. I'm going to pan my way on over there, see if we can figure out exactly what we're looking at. But yeah, this is westbound near Forest City. So at the bottom of your screen here, you should be able to see it, sort of where this is. And that is just a really cool view of a really monstrous but somewhat elevated shelf cloud. So that makes it honestly especially photogenic because it's such an elevated shelf there. This is a really gorgeous view here. That was really cool. That was a great find. Change thumbnail. Oh, I need to change the broadcast title for sure. All right, we're still gonna stay probably the closest of anything with this storm in Nashville right now. One thing that we know about Nashville is that they lose power really easily. So like anytime it storms, huh? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's funny. Blake said in my ear, he'll know when the power goes out in Nashville because all the cameras will go down. Yeah, I mean, literally anything causes them to lose power down there in Nashville, I swear. Really a lot of stuff going on right this minute. You are going to see all of our active warnings filtering through the bottom of your screen right now. We have tons of flash flood warnings in place. You'll see some in Oklahoma, west of El Reno. In general, we have two considerable flash flood warnings in New Mexico right now. Then we also have a considerable in Texas. You can take a look at those really quick. Why not? So near Ruidoso, where Ben is at and was showing us those storms not long ago, we do have a considerable flash flood warning in place where it doesn't take a lot of rain, by the way, to cause giant flash flooding concerns in these areas. It takes very little rain, matter of fact. And then in Texas, we are going to see near the general San Antonio region, another one of those as well, where they've been getting all sorts of rain. Nothing insane, though. Ooh, our Tracy storm looks like it might be starting to hook up a little bit. So this is definitely interesting. Why can I never get the latest scan? Yeah, that bounded weak echo region is fully there now at this point. You can see that rainbow of colors here. I would be supportive of a tornado warning on this one at this point. What were you saying, Blake? Oh, yeah. Now, there's a lot of contaminated radar, but by the morphology of this very obvious supercell to the south of Mount Herman and the southeast of Tracy, headed towards Tompkinsville, there's very, very clear rotation. Also, another one going on near Bowling Green, where the rotation's a little bit more broad, but a clear supercell trying to develop here. It looks like actually that rotation was stronger not long ago. In fact, it was quite strong not long ago. There's really multiple supercells on the map right now that could be worthy of tornado warnings. We're kind of just printing them off out here right now. I didn't really expect this many supercellular shapes tonight. I expected more mesoscale accident type of tornado risks. But I guess that's what I get for not doing a lot of super heavy forecasting because I was not feeling well this morning. Yeah, it is somewhat surprising that there is not a tornado warning on the map right now. For either of these storms. I mean, this one would have been more worthy of a supercell a few minutes ago at this scan for sure. Um, I'm going to assume that these storms are somewhat elevated or something. There's got to be some reason. But I mean, geez, man. Cruz, I appreciate it. Nancy, I am feeling a little bit better. Still a little under the weather, but that is okay. We can work with a little bit under the weather. So yeah, we are looking at a pretty significant wind threat beginning to roll through the Nashville area right now. I honestly probably up to around 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts makes the most sense. These winds definitely feel like they've weakened out a little bit here. As you can see, that mass starting to plume out in this direction and spread out a little more as it hits Nashville. I'm assuming some surface friction and could be leading to that with the much more densely populated region that it's rolling through now. Meanwhile, our storm near Tompkinsville still intrigues me the most. So, definitely a stronger sell here. I am definitely going to keep watching this one pretty closely. I will say though, at the bottom of your screen, I'm gonna quickly roll through the Storm Prediction Center's day one outlook here, so you can see the areas of concern as depicted by the Storm Prediction Center. So if you haven't taken a look at that yet, follow along in the bottom of your screen. Right now, you'll see the slight risk, and then it'll be the marginal, and then the tornado, wind, and hail, all the outlooks that you need. And again, one thing you'll notice is that within that tornado outlook, we are kind of right on the edge of it right now with this storm. In fact, we might just be barely outside of it here near Tompkinsville. Yeah, multiple little supercellular type of storms trying to fire off or get themselves organized here. Looks like maybe another one near Horse Branch now. I mean, that one's a baby. That one is brand new, but I mean, that's a mini supercell if I've ever seen it. But I bet you if there's a traffic camera over there, Blake, I don't know if there is, near Horse Branch or Caneyville in Kentucky, that one's probably looking pretty cool at the low levels anyway, because it looks really nice for its presentation on radar as a mini supercell here. That's unfortunate. That's okay. I don't really see structure here in Texas. Well, it depends where you're at, because like Amarillo, that's like the spot for structure. We did get a new severe thunderstorm warning just now. Oops. Yeah, we'll do Huntsville. As this storm is now rolling through Normandy and Manchester and towards Hillsborough, Tennessee. So this one's for Bedford and Coffee counties. Tagged with 60-mile-per-hour winds and some smaller hail, up to 3/4 inch hail. We can see a heck of an outflow boundary being kicked out here by all of these storms, just bowling on through areas like Huntsville, Decatur, and Winchester, Tennessee. Of course, obviously, Huntsville and Decatur are in Alabama. South side of the border there. All right, it looks like our storm near Tompkinsville might be falling apart. Oh, yeah, it might be having its inflow cut off here by the storm to its south. So that could be the end of that one. The storm north of Bowling Green, though, that one still intrigues me. It's got pretty clean, wide open inflow. I don't know where Killen, Alabama is. There it is. The ones rolling through that area near Florence are not particularly as strong. I think you'll be fine. A lot of storm training going on with this line. I think you'll be okay, though. Yeah, Nashville, maybe those winds have actually uptrended a little bit here on the last couple of scans. So definitely some stronger winds rolling on through the north side of Nashville right now. Wouldn't shock me to see it lose power. What you'll see in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen near Forest City, by the way, that camera is being shaken around and pummeled. Yeah, we'll full screen that here for a second. This is Forest City, so at the bottom of your screen, you'll see that camera is just now in the main chunk of this storm, which is severe thunderstorm warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds. And I'm not seeing a lot of folks with their hazards on, so it's hard to tell exactly how bad things are looking out there. But definitely some heavy precipitation and maybe a couple of vehicles with their hazards on. And this is looking westbound here. And we did get a severe thunderstorm warning on that one of those supercellular looking storms, one near Bowling Green. This one was not tornado possible tagged. I don't think it needs to be right this second, as that one needs some time to cycle itself and get going. Our storm down near Tompkinsville definitely looks like it is not going to be able to survive, as its inflow is entirely being cut off right now by this other cell to its south. Yeah, a lot of contaminated data coming back here on this storm out near Bowling Green and Smiths Grove. So this couplet is a little misleading here. Yeah, we do have another one. Good shout to the southwest of Owensboro. Another one of these mini supercells that I don't remember what the other one was we were looking at. It was this one near Horse Branch we were looking at. That one still looks very intriguing, by the way, near Horse Branch. But then we have another one southwest of Owensboro near West Louisville. And that one also looks pretty intriguing. So multiple cells on the map where we have all of these little mini supercells all over the place right now. I will say this one is very intriguing. I don't know if we've got a bounded weak echo region on it. We can try and figure that out. Do some investigating here. Okay, yeah. We definitely have a bounded weak echo region in place here. You can see that rainbow of colors here. So a rotating updraft most certainly in place with this storm here just to the northeast of Bowling Green. Whoops. But yeah, multiple areas of rotation with the various storms that are out here. These mini supercells firing off all over the place. Let's check the Owensboro storm from the Evansville radar's point of view. Okay, so it's actually dealing with some contaminated data. Let's try a tilt angle up or multiple. Yeah, not looking outstanding from the Evansville radar. A little bit of contaminated data there. In the bottom left of your screen, you're going to see a lot more drivers now going a little slower with their hazards on near Forest City, Arkansas. With that stronger severe thunderstorm that is rolling across the highway right now, tagged with 60-mile-per-hour winds. That's this one down here. We can look at it from the Little Rock radar. And you'll see some of these winds at around 7,000 feet are looking pretty strong. At the surface, obviously, they'll be a little lower than that. From the Memphis radar, we're looking at only around 3,000 to 4,000 feet. And those are looking a lot stronger as well, starting to just cross the highway. So definitely the strongest winds that area has seen so far. As you're going to see a couple semis rolling through there with their hazards on. So a little bit of a Boeing segment, a giant wind bag, as I like to call them, when you get these isolated storms like this. Now, this one's, of course, surrounded by a bunch of other convection, but you can see a very clear, what I like to refer to as a wind bag, rolling through areas like Forest City and Mariana. All right. Down near Manchester, Tennessee, still seeing that stronger storm with up to 60-mile-per-hour winds blowing on through the area. In Nashville, that severe thunderstorm warning has been shrunken down quite a bit to just include north of Nashville and downtown Nashville. That one is still just 60-mile-per-hour winds, not really a hail producer there. In Bowling Green, or just northeast of Bowling Green, we're still looking at this supercell here, which is rapidly trying to get organized, so it appears anyway. We can't really get the best look at it, but it's definitely trying to get organized here. We're not getting the latest scan with our cross section, but a stronger storm there for sure. Southwest of Owensboro, still looking at that one as well. It's still young. Same thing with the one near Caneyville, although that one doesn't look as good as it did before. Of course, a little while ago, that one was looking very intriguing. All these mini supercells firing off around this MCV here. As you will notice, storms just in a giant circle. Very classic MCV. Basically, you got some sort of a localized pressure system at the surface where you're just watching these winds kind of come all around counterclockwise around it. Now, the whole system itself is also moving this direction too. All right, let's check in on our severe thunderstorm warnings in Arizona really quickly. Still these elevated thunderstorms that we've been watching. I will say this one just south of the border into Mexico does have a three-body scatter hail spike on it. So that one's most certainly looking at some hail. But in Arizona itself, we are still looking at Graham, Greenlee, and Cochise counties within these severe thunderstorm warnings. And all these are going to be for these stronger wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour, maybe a little bit of small hail in there as well. A new severe thunderstorm warning has just been issued downstream of our Nashville storm. So that one is going to include areas like Lakewood, Hendersonville, Gallatin, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, and Bethpage. And we also just got another severe thunderstorm warning for Cochise County, Arizona here. So that's this one. For Sierra Vista, Lewis Springs, and Hereford. This is more of a downstream warning, as the old one only has 4 minutes left and will be allowed to naturally expire. All right, again, the storm near Bowling Green still looks the most concerning to me as of right this minute. It does look to have clean inflow, and it's definitely got that bounded weak echo region in place. I just can't seem to get the latest scan on it on my cross-section viewer. But I'm going to try to get a good look at that as soon as I can. Christopher, I see you in the chat. Good to see you. All right. I've given this even more time. Let's see if I can finally get the picture I want. Yes, I can. Okay. So we have a much, much, much more evident bounded weak echo region in place here. You can see a very, very clear rainbow of colors here. So this is indicative of a strong rotating updraft. Again, these targets that you're seeing on the left-hand side of this rainbow should not be there in theory. They're only there because a rotating updraft has brought targets from the right-hand side around to the backside of the updraft through the formation of the RFD, essentially. So we are looking at clear and obvious rotation near Smith's Grove. Now, whether or not that's worthy of a tornado warning is to be determined by the National Weather Service. Of course, what you're seeing here that looks like really strong rotation on your velocity scan is actually not. That is a little bit of radar contamination. Near in the general Nashville area near Goodlettsville, you should be okay. I'm not really worried about any type of a tornado risk down there. You are going to see downbursting air that has kind of come through your region here with this storm, though. So damaging winds definitely possible. A tornado definitely very, very unlikely for your region. For Goodlettsville, Tennessee, and the whole greater Nashville area. Hopefully that helps out. Yeah, the storm here near Smith's Grove, just to the northeast of Bowling Green, definitely strikes my fancy the most. Now, I will say it doesn't have much time left, as you're going to notice all this other convection firing off like absolute crazy out ahead of it. So this storm is going to get suffocated here within the next like 10 minutes or so. So if it will produce a tornado, it's probably going to have to happen like now. So definitely one to watch very closely. We did just get a severe thunderstorm warning for Sumner County, Kansas. And I'll jump over to there in just a second. Take a look at what's going on out in the plains. Christopher, thank you for tuning in. I'm happy you found us as well. On the Kansas one. Alrighty. I still didn't even have the Kansas one on my on GR. There it is. All right, Sumner County, Kansas. Let's jump on over there. We are South Kansas here near areas like Corbin, Perth, Rome. You can see a outflow boundary being kicked out as this storm is pushing out some stronger winds, a little more outflow dominant near Caldwell, South Haven, Perth, and Rome, Corbin as well. So again, this is Sumner County in Kansas, 60-mile-per-hour winds possible on this guy, up to 1-inch hail, some smaller hail, especially just to the southwest of Corbin, and really headed right towards Corbin as well. Sort of. I mean, this storm's hardly moving, so it's more of the outflow boundary here that's bringing the strongest winds. So you might get that wind damage near areas like Perth, Rome, even Wellington and Mayfield, Kansas, without ever even getting wet, just depending on how long this storm lasts, because it's not really moving much. It is tagged as moving at a whopping 10 miles per hour. Things are really going fast. All right, our cell near Bowling Green is somehow maintaining okay inflow for the time being. It is beginning to absorb this other cell here. What you'll notice is that these targets are just going to kind of be brought along like that, as that stronger updraft over here is definitely maintaining itself for the time being. But again, I'm expecting this storm to completely fall apart as its inflow will be entirely cut off by these other cells to its south not long from now, unless this thing's absolutely a monster updraft and just somehow manages to stay alive. But I highly doubt that. Near Owensboro, we're still looking at a mini supercell out here that does have some rotation to its name, as it has recycled and looks like it is trying to mature a little bit more. So that's going to be one to watch pretty closely here, as you will see a similar situation where this one is eventually going to get its inflow cut off by all of these storms that are near it, as all of these cells are just firing off like crazy as the cap begins to erode away. It is around 6 p.m. here. So that cap is finally being fully broken. Of course, we've had storms for quite some time, but you'll notice over the last few minutes, especially, I'll pull back some other frames here and we'll take a look at it zoomed all the way out. What you're going to notice is that all of these little pop-up cumulus cells are going to start showing up like crazy on the map here. We'll go back in time. And that's all the way back to our tornado warning that we had when we went live a while ago. And you're going to see all of these cells in Kentucky starting to fire off like crazy. At the bottom of your screen right now, you will see going through all of the watches. I am noticing in Forest City, Arkansas, it doesn't look like the rain is quite as powerful as it was before, but a lot of folks still using their hazards here. So maybe a little bit more of a deceiving visualization from this camera in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Tigrans, thank you so much for the kind words. I agree, the graphics look outstanding, and huge credits to our team for putting this stuff together. Just unbelievable work. I wish I could take credit for this type of stuff. I can take credit for coming up with ideas. I can take credit for the meteorology, but in terms of the graphics and our web design and things like that, that ain't me, bro. I'm footing the bill for that. That's all I'm doing. I'm directing traffic, which is valuable. I'm not trying to sell myself short and act like I'm not doing anything at all. But I'm not the talented, creative mind and design mind, especially, that is behind our incredible overlays and our incredible website and our graphics as well. None of that stuff is me. I've got a great team of talented folks who help us out. Yeah, one day we might be able to expand into Canada, maybe in a couple of months. Again, we do have a lot of major changes coming. Really big announcements will be making their way out over the next maybe 6 months or so. A lot of cool stuff in the works. But it will take time. Whoops. Yeah, definitely a pretty impressive updraft with this storm here. It will be very interesting to see what happens with this one. Again, I know I've showed it a few times, but we've got that bounded weak echo region in place. You've got your rainbow of colors. Very well established here. Yeah, no, our website is professionally done, as are our overlays now. Our old overlays were absolutely some AI stuff that we threw together so that we could have something to show, because we weren't quite finished with our best overlay yet, which is now the real one that we're using now, which of course is done by hand. But so as of this moment, nothing that we do is really used any type of like AI for the most part. Our website is all done by a professional, our overlay done by a professional, our graphics are done by a professional. Obviously, the meteorology is done by me. I think you're a professional, Blake. Can't wait for you to cover Canada. Yeah, I'm excited to be able to cover Canada as well. I'm hoping that it's maybe around September, that we're able, like the end of September, we're able to do that. But we'll see. To be determined. It could be sooner than that. It won't be long. As you're going to see, our Smiths Grove storm is definitely going to begin to fully fall apart here. We're going to get an update on these velocities in just a couple of seconds. And this inflow is going to be entirely cut off here in just a minute. As this storm is now colliding with all of the cells to its south. You're going to see these have fired off like crazy over the last few minutes. And there's that velocity update as things are much more drab. I'm shocked you only have 1.5K subs. We got to get you to 2 million. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the goal. That's the end goal is to be able to reach as many people as possible so that we can make a difference. That is what we want to do. The storm near Tompkinsville actually managed to absorb some of those other storms around it. So it could reorganize itself, to be determined on that. Something to watch. Yeah, we're only 4 weeks in since launch. We launched a month and 2 days ago was our first forecast video, and a month and 4 days ago was our why are we doing this video? And now look at us. We've hit 100 likes on this broadcast. I mean, we've averaged almost 100 viewers for this whole broadcast, so we're reaching a good audience. Kathy saying, I like your channel. I will continue to watch. Well, thank you very much. I like you for continuing to watch and staying weather aware, trying to help us keep others safe. Still looking at Forest City, Arkansas on the bottom left, where a lot of folks are still driving with their hazards on, as that rain is definitely a bit of a downpour. A little bit of a windbag scenario going on. Back into Oklahoma, we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning for Tulsa and Wagner counties out here, where we have what appears to be a downburst. Oh, yeah, we've most certainly got a downburst here. So, what you're going to notice with this storm is that these velocities start off kind of close together, and you're going to watch those reds and greens push out in both directions here really, really dramatically over just a matter of about 10 minutes here. Watch this. So you're going to see these winds starting to come up like crazy, going in both different directions here. So definitely a very strong downburst scenario going on. 60-mile-per-hour winds most certainly possible here. This severe thunderstorm warning honestly should be expanded a little bit. More of something like this, as those winds are going to keep pushing out like crazy. So essentially what we're watching here is all of that mass from a dying thunderstorm just comes plummeting down to the surface. So here's your storm, your updraft fails, and all that mass comes plummeting down to the surface and has to spread out in all directions. So a very strong downburst definitely going on, not far from Tulsa. We are just to the east of Tulsa here, out in Oklahoma. In southern Kansas, still looking at south of Wichita, a stronger storm out here producing a strong outflow boundary. You can see that clear as day on radar here, where we're definitely seeing some stronger winds in place. You can just watch these winds really kicking out that boundary. So definitely gusty winds for areas like Argonia, Wellington, even Arkansas City, Winfield as well, as this boundary continues to push out away from this storm. Let's go back to Tennessee. All right, in the greater Nashville area, this storm is now over the radar unit, so it's not going to look quite as impressive, but we can go to, not that. Okay. We don't have all the tilt angles yet, it looks like. That's okay. But a stronger storm out here still producing 60-mile-per-hour winds as this thing is moving off to the northeast of Nashville. I can't wait till you get chasers on your stream. We actually have a bunch of chasers signed. Just it's, of course, a very low risk day, so nobody's really out and about. Look at Sierra Vista. We can look at Sierra Vista. Sierra Vista's got the stronger storm from a little bit ago that we've talked about a couple of times now. It's producing that 60-mile-per-hour wind. What you'll notice with this one, though, is that it's kind of not moving quick. So it's moving to the southwest. They have it tagged at about 15 miles per hour, though I don't know exactly if I agree with that. It's moving to the southwest. I don't even know. It's maybe moving to the west. It's not really moving much at all. Essentially, this one's just going to sit here and produce a flash flood possible scenario with some gusty winds as well throughout areas like Sierra Vista, especially just north of it as well. We've had multiple flash flood warnings in place in Arizona today and New Mexico. Ruidoso, we showed a video from there earlier. We have a couple of considerable flash flood warnings in place in Lincoln County, New Mexico here. We do have another one out in West Virginia that I can quickly talk about, where we've had a lot of rain in this area. So we have a handful of flash flood warnings in place here throughout the Virginias and Kentucky type of region here. So this is going to be 4 of our flash flood warnings on the map. Of course, we're looking at a total of 12 on the entire United States. So that's a third of our flash flood warnings are in that area. And our storm that was near Bowling Green is definitely not going to be producing much of any of a tornado threat anymore. Still a little bit of rotation in place, but again, it's not going to be able to produce anything significant here worthy of a tornado warning now, as we've had a car accident here at the mesoscale level. Gracie Fuller in the chat, coming out of Chattanooga. You're going to have some storms heading into your watch area pretty soon. A stronger line rolling through Huntsville, Winchester, Tullahoma right now, headed towards the general Chattanooga area. And one of those storms is severe thunderstorm warned, as we're getting a little bit more of a Boeing segment here. Let's see if we can pull a camera from Chattanooga, since Gracie's in the chat. We're going to see if we can find one really quick. Yeah, there's tons of cameras in Chattanooga. We're going to get some cameras on really quick out of Chattanooga just for you, Gracie. Gracie, of course, a good friend of mine, went to college together. Meteorologist out there in Chattanooga. We're working on those cameras. There's one. There's one down there. There you go. Full screen right now, as there's Chattanooga. That is, what are we looking at? I-24 eastbound, I think, is what we're looking at. So an area that you probably know. You're waiting to see if this warning gets into your region. It's one county over at the moment. Ah, I see you. I see you. Yeah, I think any of these storms could definitely reach severe thresholds, really just for straight line wind damage, especially towards maybe like Tracy City here in the near-ish term. So I wouldn't be shocked to see a warning like this put on the map if this storm continues to uptrend a little bit. Yeah, she means into her station's coverage area. That's correct. That's a beautiful shot in the bottom left, by the way, from Arkansas. That's a good find. So that's near Lanoke, Arkansas, in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. And of course, the storms leaving the Nashville area still posing that wind threat, still tagged for 60-mile-per-hour winds. 28 minutes remain on that warning. That one is going to include Sumner and Wilson counties. Also, Coffee County down here is, I believe this is the storm. I think this is, yeah, this should be Coffee County, if I remember correctly. Yep, okay. You covered Tracy City? Yeah, it would not shock me. And it looks like we have a little bit of a prefrontal cell getting kicked off here that's headed towards Tracy City. So that's one that I'll watch. If it can stay ahead of the line and mature, definitely could be a hail producer as well. So that's definitely one to watch. But yeah, what we're seeing throughout the entire Tennessee, Middle Tennessee region right now is just this giant line of storms just blowing on through this direction towards the east and southeast. Oh, man. England's up over Norway 2-1 in extra time right now. So that's something. Norway's got like 15 minutes to tie it up. All right. So again, not a ton going on around the map. We do still have stronger storms out in Arkansas here, where this former windbag event has tamed itself down definitely a little bit here. And this one is rolling through areas like Hughes right now, eventually going to be headed into the northwest portion of Mississippi. It's out here near the Delta right now. As you'll notice, this whole thing is just going to continue off in this type of direction. Yeah, I miss the meteorological migrations too. I can't wait to see all of you guys soon. I know once I'm back in Starkville in August, there's going to be a handful of us there still, a couple of us doing our masters, a couple finishing up their undergrad. So I know you guys will come back and see us. But still. All right, our our severe thunderstorm warning near Nashville has been lifted here. Still looking at a severe thunderstorm warning in place in Coffee County, Tennessee, though, near Manchester, Hillsborough, north of Winchester. I have no idea what we're looking at. We're looking at something here in Nashville on this camera. In the bottom left hand, we can full screen that. Yeah. We're looking into some sort of a storm here. Where is this at? The Ashland City Highway. Interesting. Briley Parkway. That's in northwest Nashville. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I don't know exactly what we're looking at there. I assume this is a pretty elevated camera, and it's probably looking towards the east. So we're looking right into the backside of this storm. And you might, on the left-hand side, we could be looking at that rain shaft beginning to spread out with the outflow of this storm. As it's pushing to the left, you'll see that rain shaft looks to be at an angle there. Gracie, you're on Norway TikTok. Are you a big Erling Haaland fan? We need a big goal from him if Norway are to continue in the tournament, and I hope they do. I would rather them continue on than England. They took Haaland off? What are they doing? I guess they want to lose. Unless he's just absolutely exhausted, then obviously you got to get fresh legs out there. But, I mean, that's your guy, But big double save there from the Nordic goalkeeper. He was gassed. Okay, I got you. I haven't been able to watch closely, but how can we drive on parks and park on driveways? I think you mean drive on parkways. I don't know. We don't call them parkways where I'm from. Forecast in the chat. Good to see you. See Taylor out there in the chat as well. Briley Parkway just gave you war flashbacks, Lorian. That's funny. Yes, we can include Braden in our Met functions. Yes, and Blake, as they will both still be in town in Starkville. And Ben also, he'll be in town. We'll have like a lot of the team will be in Starkville. Yeah, still stronger storms out here, producing some stronger winds, crossing the highway near Brickies and Hughes in Arkansas. In Oklahoma, we were watching this downburst from not a long time ago. What you'll notice on radar is that we have a perfect 360-degree circle where you can see that outflow from the downburst being kicked out in all four cardinal directions here. So that's something that's pretty cool to see. And we can show this on velocities again. I'll go ahead and pull some frames back as all that mass just comes crashing down to the surface and spreads out in all directions. So you'll see these, hang on, do that. You'll see this storm here will fire up pretty quickly, and then it's going to dissipate even quicker as that mass is then going to begin to spread out in all directions. You're going to watch those reds and greens really push out in both directions there. And it definitely was a moment in here with that downburst where we could have maybe seen an isolated gust up to 70 miles per hour. In general, this was still a very strong downburst, though, and those winds are beginning to spread out now as that storm is still surviving, though, despite really all of the mass coming down. All right, let's check in on our mini supercells that have been firing off all over the place in Kentucky. There was the one near Owensboro. And check in on this one, as it doesn't really appear to have any rotation going on from the Evansville radar. Let's try maybe, just maybe a little bit of rotation in place near Sutherland. Looks like this severe thunderstorm warning has 6 minutes remaining to the east of Bowling Green. That one's probably going to be allowed to expire. They may also just opt to lift it here, as that storm is kind of moving out of the polygon. But you'll notice there just isn't a ton going on around the map right now. So that was part of the reason that we decided to keep delaying our broadcast here. But what I am expecting later this evening is a pretty significant wind-driven event just to continue rolling through this entire region. And I can go ahead and I'm going to run the Storm Prediction Center's day one outlooks again here. And so watch at the bottom of your screen. But what you're going to notice is that when we get into the wind outlook, there's a lot of folks that are within a wind risk today. I mean, a lot of folks. But really all through the Tennessee Valley and back in towards Appalachia, even as far as South Carolina. We'll be looking at a risk for some wind damage. Oh, it looks like it actually didn't push to my overlay for some reason on OBS. That's odd. Interesting. I'm going to try that again and see if it'll work this time. There we go. I don't know what happened there exactly, but there it goes. Now you're going to see that SPC outlook starting to roll through. And you'll see a marginal risk and a slight risk all the way from the Carolinas through Appalachia, back through even the central Oklahoma region. And then another slight risk is in place down in Arizona for some wind damage as well. And that's your tornado outlook in the bottom right that you're seeing right now. We've only had one tornado warning this evening. I'm not really expecting to have any others. But there's your wind outlook. I mean, that's a very large wind outlook on the map there. There's also a SIG 1 in place in central Oklahoma and down in Arizona. Scott says, I'm intrigued by the wind risk for here in South Carolina for tomorrow. I think it was 2 months after I moved to Columbia before I felt the air move at all. Fair enough. The only radar site we have on the severe thunderstorm warning in Tucson just went down. Is that for... I don't think the radar is down. Oh, yeah, it is. No, it's absolutely down. It's been down for a half hour. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so definitely lacking a radar, but we can still see these from the Phoenix radar. 60-mile-per-hour wind still possible with these. Also tagged for, or none of them are tagged for hail anymore. I think they were earlier. I don't think any of them needed to be at any point, to be honest. These are pretty elevated storms. So if England wins, do you think Patty the Batty will fight worse? Taylor says, watching both Will and Caleb cover weather, life is peak. Do you think they're gonna sue me if I show Caleb's broadcast for a quick second on air? Or do you think do we get the friends threat or the friends exception? Braden, I wouldn't actually do it. I mean, if I got permission, if I got permission from Matt himself, then maybe I would do it. As of course, Matt Laubon calls the shots down there at Mississippi Live. Try and see. All right. Oh, Caleb's coming off live right now. Well, that's a bummer. He should join. He should get on our broadcast. Put him in front of a camera. I'll send him a link. I'm playing. Still watching all sorts of storms throughout the entire Middle Tennessee region, also even towards Knoxville. You will see the Morristown radar giving us a decent picture on some of these storms out just west of Knoxville, kind of riding the highway, just north of the highway here. And Chattanooga and the general vicinity, definitely going to be seeing some stronger storms with this Boeing segment as it does head towards the general Chattanooga area. So that's definitely going to be something to watch. Portland, Tennessee in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, by the way. That one's still showing just some general precipitation along the Smartway, apparently. The T-Dot Smartway. Who calls it a Smartway, man? I want some good cloud structure here in Killen, Alabama tonight. Will that be possible? Yeah, definitely will be possible. Can I talk about Pennsylvania? There's not a lot of anything really going on in Pennsylvania today, anyway. We'll take a gander on up here. Looks like we have some general thunderstorms throughout Pennsylvania. Honestly, some of these storms are a little further north, like up near Scranton. I wasn't really expecting storms that far north today. So that's definitely something interesting. But yeah, just some stronger thunderstorms out here. I'm not expecting anything particularly dangerous or threatening in Pennsylvania. It could be some heavy wind or heavy rain producers, some gusty winds possible with these as well. Maybe some very small hail, but I doubt it in terms of the hail threat with these. Slabtown. That's crazy. Oh, that's cool. In the bottom left-hand corner, you're going to be seeing a view in Memphis where you can actually see the Bass Pro Pyramid. There you go. We'll full screen that for a second. You can see that rain shaft off in the distance on the left-hand side where everything gets really gray and faded and like you can't really see any details in the clouds anymore. That's a little bit of a rain shaft that we're looking at there. So definitely a really cool camera down there in Tennessee. Yeah, up in Pennsylvania, nothing crazy going on today. Caleb wants to know if I think any of the storms in Mississippi will go severe. I can check on them. Most of our warnings around the map have been lifted, by the way. So we have 4 severe thunderstorm warnings on the map, 2 in Arizona, 1 in Kansas, 1 in Oklahoma. You don't want to be gone when any warnings get issued. It looks like you're having more convection in northern Mississippi starting to get going. I'm not really expecting anything crazy in southern Mississippi at all. If you were going to have anything, it's just going to really be along this line up here of the storms that are south of Memphis. We have seen this cluster near Forest City was formerly severe and has definitely been capable of producing those 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts at numerous times over the last like 2 hours or so. So it wouldn't shock me if that became severe at any point as it rolls through kind of this general vicinity of northern Mississippi. I also wouldn't be shocked if that cluster organized itself and became severe, but that probably won't happen until it gets out of Mississippi. I don't know if you cover over state lines at all, but that one might be headed towards Adrian's neck of the woods near Iuka, but eventually towards Alabama. It's going to take time for that one to get organized, I would think. And then, yeah, but this one here that's crossing the river right now, coming out of the Delta towards South Memphis, that one could definitely reach severe thresholds, I would think. It also, I wouldn't rule out any of these pop-up storms becoming isolated severe ones for just some period of time. Any of these storms or any of these storms as they continue to propagate this direction towards the east here. A lot of these storms are moving like more or less like they're swinging like this. So they're coming slightly south and then they're going to start rolling due east as they are rolling with that MCV that is centered over Tennessee right now, somewhere like in this area. So all these storms are kind of rolling like this. So that's what I would be watching out for in Tennessee. I'm the deciding vote. Do you get Taco Bell now or wait or while no warnings? Oh, I would go now. Well, it depends how long the Taco Bell run is going to be, because you might have a warning that pops up within the next like 15 minutes here in extreme northwestern Mississippi, like South Memphis, Hernando, South Haven type of area. So if you can go quick, I would go now. The camera in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, by the way, is from Marion, Arkansas. Tons of storms really popping up all over the place, though, throughout northern Mississippi, especially eastern Arkansas, that are going to be moving into northern Mississippi. So got to go in 5 minutes. It's been a fun stream. No worries, Kason. I appreciate you spending some time with us tonight and helping out in the chat. We did get a new severe thunderstorm warning in Kentucky, by the way, for Barron and Edmonson counties. So this is an entirely new severe thunderstorm warning. This one is going to be for the general Glasgow area for 60-mile-per-hour winds, maybe some small hail as well. I wouldn't really honestly be expecting any hail with this. More of a wind threat here. I am interested to see if any types of rotation can develop on the southern edge of this storm at any point. If it gets organized and we get an updraft to establish itself a little bit more clean. Cosmic Shield Maiden says, hello, new here. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping in. All right. So I do want to just quickly show off what things sound like when we, since things are not very active right now. What I'm going to quickly do is give you a look at what it sounds like when we do get tornado warnings and things like that, so that it's not a shock when that time comes for anyone who stays with us pretty frequently. So these are all going to be test pop-up warnings. There are no tornado warnings on the map, and I'm not expecting there to be any in the next few minutes. So here is a radar indicated test tornado warning here.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
So there's that. We can go ahead and show what a PDS tornado warning is going to look like.
A new PDS tornado warning has been issued.
Okay. And then a tornado emergency, if we ever get one of those, God forbid.
A tornado emergency has been issued.
And then there's various upgrades as well. So like if we get upgraded to a confirmed tornado.
A tornado warning has been upgraded.
So there's something like that. So those are the types of things that you'll come to get to know anytime that we get any tornado warnings. But again, all of those were tests. There are no tornado warnings on the map. I want to make that very, very clear. And that voice that you're hearing is the OG EAS Tom voice. A lot of people go crazy for it. So a lot of thought has been put into the way that we've done things with this overlay. W voice, beautiful. Just a test. Yeah. I like it. It's not overwhelming. Yeah, I want to hear what you guys think, by the way, about the overlay and everything. I mean, there's not a lot going on around the map right now. So this is a great opportunity for you guys to give me your feedback and let us know any areas you think we can improve on. Whether that's our overlay, it's our presentation, it's our forecast videos, it's our social media, our Discord server, our website, anything. If you have any feedback, definitely let me know in the chat. But I'm seeing that you guys like the alerts, which is good. Logan says it's perfect. That's high praise. I appreciate that. I think it's simple yet grabs your attention, and the voice is a nice touch. It makes us feel a part of the team. We see it as you see it. Yeah, this is true. Aubrey saying OG Tom voice is nostalgic. Yes, it is. Aubrey, good to see you, by the way. I hope you're doing well. Aubrey and I graduated together from Mississippi State University. Legacy Adventures Official says, it's very nice. Christopher, everything's perfect. Great job. Michelle really likes it. My grandfather in the chat, will you go mobile in the near future? Oh, when I go mobile in the future, will I be using this overlay? I'll be using something similar to it. I don't know exactly. We don't have an overlay made just yet for when I am chasing myself. But that'll happen eventually. Aubrey saying, good to see you too. Congrats on your channel growth. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, do it. Do it, Blake. We have a Mississippi State camera here, actually, which is pretty cool. So that's one of the entrances to campus there that a lot of you may be familiar with. In fact, I know exactly where that is, too. So that's pretty cool. Thank you, Blake, for pulling that up for us. A lot of Mississippi State folks out here in the chat tonight, so cool to show that. Tor guy saying, I'm so glad you didn't mess up and use EAS tones. I've heard some others do it. Illegal #1 and you. Yeah, we don't want to do that. Definitely don't want to do that. It's really important to me that everything we do is our own stuff. Definitely this Boeing segment here that's headed toward Chattanooga. It really would not shock me to see just a general severe thunderstorm warning slapped on this thing for 60-mile-per-hour winds, especially if it becomes a little bit more outflow dominant here. You'll notice that outflow boundary is basically sitting on the front edge of the storm. It's not really detaching that much. I'm from Maine. There's a rarely crazy weather here, maybe blizzards. Well, you know what? Out in Maine, you are going to be seeing some weather coming your way. The day 4 outlook does have you in a 15% risk for severe weather, basically everywhere except Portland. So something to watch is out in the Canadian Prairie, we are expecting some stronger storms that will also make their way on through this region here. That was a really, really bad drawing that I just did there. It's more of like kind of something like this. Sure. Yeah, something to look out for in Maine for sure. You don't get severe weather there a lot, so when you do, you got to pay attention to it because a lot of times folks don't really know exactly what's coming their way. Do I think that will have tornadoes? To be determined on that. It's probably going to be more of a wind threat. You're in Portland? Well, that's good then. Most likely you'll be okay, but that 15% region may expand a little bit as the forecast becomes a little more certain. So definitely keep your head on a swivel, but I'm happy to hear that you are not in that zone right now. I think you all have done great in being unique. The presentation is top flight. Well, I really appreciate that. And I say this again as a flex of the people I work with, not as a flex of myself. I genuinely think our overlay and our website are the best in the entire meteorology space right now. Like it's really, and especially our website will be even more once these new additions come out. We have some really, really cool stuff coming out within the next week or so, maybe. And I'm really excited for that. Also, a quick question, by the way, when we did have those warnings come through, those test warnings I did, were any of those particularly loud or too quiet? Like, what was the volume like on those? Because I want to make sure I adjust that to be something that's good for viewers, where you can hear it loud and clear, but it's also not like overwhelming, super, super loud or anything. It was perfect. Okay. I have it turned, it was a little loud when I was testing them earlier. Of course, we've been playing with this overlay for like 2 or 3 days now as it's been in the works, but this morning I was playing with the sound volume or the volume slider a little bit, and I have it set to be a little quieter. If I was talking, it may be under me a little bit, but the visual draws your attention well. Okay. That's interesting. So maybe right now I have it set at minus 5.3 decibels because it was a little loud. So I could maybe the volume was low. It could be slightly loud. Okay, okay. Then I'm gonna turn it up at least a little bit here. So I had it at like minus 5.6 decibels or something. I just changed it to minus 3. I'm gonna do one more test one. Let me know if you guys think this is better. This is a test warning. This is not a real tornado warning that's about to show up here. Let me know what you think about the volume level.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
There's that volume. Let me know what you think about that. So I just turned it up a little bit. I can still make it louder if it needs to be louder. Just let me know. We can keep running a couple tests to make sure that we get that volume right. Cruz says that was perfect. What does everybody else think? I want to get multiple opinions so we can make sure it's good. How are you guys handling alerts on outbreak days? Do you have priority warnings queuing? Yeah, so everything, it's not gonna, warnings won't replace themselves. Like the warnings will pop up and then the next one will come through. It'll create a queue. And it is prioritized, with tornado warnings being the highest priority. Jackson says louder. A couple other folks saying perfect. Okay, well, I have it set at minus 3 decibels. Before it was at minus 5.6. So I'm going to change it to just like minus 2.5. So I'm just going to turn it up just a tiny bit here. And let's see how this looks or sounds. So again, this is another test warning. There's no tornado warning active on the map. This is another test warning. We'll do a PDS one this time.
A new PDS tornado warning has been issued.
How was that? Too quiet? Was that good? So that was minus 2.5 decibels. Because again, it was pretty loud. At least I thought anyway, when it was at full volume. Still quiet? Okay. Okay, most folks I think are saying too quiet. So I'm going to turn it up even more. This is almost at full volume. I have it at minus 1 decibel. So let's try. We'll try it one more time and see what you guys think. And then if not, I can put it at full volume. I just thought it was too loud when it was at full volume. But I could be mistaken. It could just be the way I have my headphones set up and everything. So this time we'll do a tornado emergency to test that one out. So again, this is a test tornado warning. There is no tornado.
A tornado emergency has been issued.
Okay, how was that? All right, Kason, thank you for tuning in tonight. Let me know how that was volume-wise. Better? Perfect? Now perfect? Perfection? Fine? That is better? Okay. All right. That's what we're going to keep it at then. All right. All right. Good. I'm glad that we played around with this because the last thing that you want is to be in a scenario where we are having a lot of tornado warnings. And obviously, I'm not going to have time to adjust it when there's a lot of tornado warnings going on. And I don't want any warnings to pop up. Like maybe somebody leaves my broadcast on their television and has it on there just in case. And then the tornado warning pops up and they all of a sudden aren't going to know. So definitely good that we messed around with it now to fix that up. So I appreciate everybody's help with that. Yeah, I'm not going to touch it again there. I think this is good. It was an overwhelmingly good. So it's pouring in Henderson right now and saw some pretty crazy lightning. Yeah, definitely a solid storm rolling through the general Indiana, Illinois, Kentucky region. If I turn on lightning here, you will see a lot of it all over the place. But especially out here near Henderson, there is definitely a little bit. Adrian, I don't have it set up yet. Give me a minute. All right, try that. And we're going to get a live hit here from Adrian in just a minute. And he's just going to give us a little bit of an update on things that he's seeing around the map. All right. Thanks for putting the clock lower so I can actually see it on my TV. You are most welcome. We've tried to incorporate literally all of the forecast or all of the feedback that we've gotten. And I think we're in like a pretty perfect scenario right now. I'm really, really happy with where we're at. Volume can be dynamically controlled, can't it? Like give certain warnings the highest volume priority. In theory, yes. That's definitely possible in theory. All right, so our current severe thunderstorm warnings in Arizona are for Pima, Pima and Pinal counties. So we are seeing some stronger storms out here. All these are just tagged with 60-mile-per-hour wind, and it looks like we have 1-inch hail tagged to the northeast of Tucson as well. There is a little bit of lightning with these storms out here in Arizona to answer the question from Sharon Conklin out there. So there's a little bit of lightning in place, nothing crazy. Okay, it looks like we do have Adrian. Adrian, I think you're going to have to go vertical for this because for some reason on mobile, it doesn't seem to want to let you be sideways. Like, I don't know why, but anyway, let me get this set up here. Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and have a quick chat here with Adrian. There he is. Can you hear me, Adrian? Oh, whoops. There you go. Hello, Adrian.
What's going on, Will?
You are sideways, just so you know. We'll have to go vertical for it
There
here.
we go.
Sorry about that. I didn't hit the right button there.
Yeah, no, you're perfectly fine. I was able to slip away here for a second. So there's two things I wanted to just kind of go over. As far as the tornado threat for tonight, it is very isolated. The only place throughout the entire continental United States that has highest potential for a tornado this evening, west to central Kentucky, between Owensboro. If you were to draw a triangle down from Owensboro down to Clarksville, Tennessee, and northeast Bowling Green, that would be the best chance with the overlap of the ingredients for a brief tornado tonight with any cell that can develop. Other than that, the overwhelming threat for the remainder of the season is going to be any outflow driven winds
Yep.
along that little 700 millimeter shortwave that's kind of coming through the mid south between Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, Alabama. That's going to be pretty much your secondary threat. Other than that, just a basically a bunch of wind. So that's
Yep.
pretty much your update for right now that I've been seeing.
Yeah, no, I mean, I completely agree. I don't think there is really much of any tornado risk this evening outside of Western Kentucky. We are still seeing a couple of storms firing off that continue to try and establish some inflow, and they end up with a little bit of mid-level rotation, but nothing crazy. A couple of them have tried. Of course, we saw one tornado warning a little while ago, about 2 hours ago near Evansville. That's the only warning we've seen so far this evening, but we've seen a bunch of those mini supercells fire off and try to get themselves going. None of them have been able to survive long enough, as the convective mode is just way too messy, which is good. So definitely a very limited tornado risk this evening.
Yep. During that corridor, we're kind of right on the edge. We're about 30 to 35 knots of effective bulk shear. And there is an influx of better thermodynamics, especially in the Cape's about sitting at 200. There is still a chance, but it's going to be very marginal. It'd be one or two at most, and it's very questionable if we have any more opportunity.
Yep. No, absolutely. I completely agree. So I appreciate the update. Is there anything else you got for us before you head back out?
No, not at this point. Hoping it's going to be a nice and quiet night. And at this point, I'll turn back over to you. Appreciate it.
All right, Adrian, thank you very much for checking in with us. That was Adrian Roncahan, one of our incredible storm chasers here at WillBrattonWx. He does an incredible job with us. And yeah, I know his mic was a little bit quiet. That's we'll work out some of the kinks with those things. I have a possible solution for that for the next time. Go look at the Crenshaw camera. The Crenshaw camera? Okay. Is this a camera that... Okay, I don't have access to your guys' cameras, the North Mississippi Storm Chasers cameras. I think Matt has exclusive rights to those. I don't have access to those ones. 10% chance that you will be live tomorrow afternoon with all the hazards in play. I'd say it's probably a higher than a 10% chance that I'll be live tomorrow. We are looking again for tomorrow at a pretty decent risk for wind damage. And then we also have that isolated tornado risk back into the UP of Michigan that we've been watching out for. So there's that. And tomorrow might be one of the last days that we are live for at least a little bit, as I think things are going to be really quiet on Monday. And then Tuesday is much more conditional. But yeah, tomorrow's a maybe. Monday is a probably not. And then Tuesday forward, things could be a lot more calm. For at least a little while. Yeah, Caleb. If you want, have Matt shoot me a message if you think he's willing to allow me to use his cameras, just since we're friends and have a relationship. But I will say, I know that his price is very high. What do I think about the big time Friday threat on day 7? I think it's going to be more of a wind driven event, but it's hard to give anything too crazy. Yeah, Taylor, that's what Caleb was just saying. I don't have access to those cameras. Matt has an exclusive deal with them. He's got them fully exclusive. So I believe there's only one creator who's allowed to use them, and that's because he has given a lot of money to the organization for more cameras to be put up. So Matt would have to reach out to me to give me access to those. It looks like our line headed towards Chattanooga has downtrended a little bit, which is good. So I think a lot of our severe weather threat for this evening is really going to start to completely fall apart and decline. So we actually might not be live for that much longer tonight. It's only been a 2 hour and 15-minute broadcast. The way things are trending right now, I honestly don't see this going longer than a 3-hour broadcast. So definitely something to watch out for. But yeah, in terms of the day 7 outlook right now that's in place, I can go ahead and show this. again. This is out here in the mid-Atlantic, where we're looking at a 15% area already outlined all the way from Raleigh through Philly. So a very, very large area where there's a very strong signal in place, but I think this is going to be more of a wind-driven event. But again, to be determined on what our storm mode and our hazards are going to look like, as there's a lot of uncertainty still in this forecast as we are quite a ways out. But I do think things are generally going to be pretty calm. You'll notice the Storm Prediction Center for tomorrow just has a couple of slight risk areas in place, plus that 2% tornado risk back into the northern part of the Midwest towards the UP of Michigan. And then a little bit of a wind and hail threat as well, the hail threat being entirely limited to the northern Midwest. And then for Monday, I think things are going to be a lot more calm. I completely agree with this outlook from the Storm Prediction Center thus far, at least from what I looked at things yesterday morning. And then as we go forward in time, possibly a little bit of a wind-driven event up into the northeast where we could definitely have a couple of tornadoes as well. That'll be something to watch. And then I don't think we're going to see a whole lot as we go forward from there, except for Friday, where we're looking at this possible larger scale severe weather event going on in the mid-Atlantic. So Taylor, that's abuse of power. Yeah, all of our severe thunderstorm warnings are down here in the greater Tucson area right now for northeast of Tucson near San Manuel, Mammoth, and then also southeast of Tucson out near Pantano or Vail. This is for Pima and Pinal counties. And then in Oklahoma, we have one other severe thunderstorm warning for more downbursting air, 60-mile-per-hour winds possible with this guy. Actually, I don't know if this is another downburst or not. Let me pull some frames back. Maybe not actually a downburst scenario with this one. Definitely seems like it, but less significant looking compared to the one that we saw closer to Tulsa over here near Fair Oaks. That one was pretty significant. And you'll notice this outflow being kicked out in literally all directions by these storms. All of these are just rising up and then flying down to the surface. Just these pop-up storms. There's not enough shear in the environment for these storms to get organized. So the downdraft just completely takes over and they collapse. And all that mass comes shooting down to the surface, bringing some really powerful winds. We do have flash flooding still in place all around the country, really. A considerable for Lincoln County, New Mexico, near Ruidoso, just north of town, it looks like. And then we also have flash flood warnings in Kentucky. This is the larger one near Bowling Green that hasn't been here for very long. This was actually put on the map less than 20 minutes ago. And then in Arkansas for Yell County, that's the one we were just looking at, as well as Perry County. In Oklahoma, we're looking at Garfield, Kingfisher, Blaine, and Canadian counties out here in central Oklahoma, where we've got a couple of flash flood warnings in place. And then finally, in Louisiana, we are looking at Iberia Parish down here has a flash flood warning in place. And I don't know actually if I mentioned this one in Pike County, Kentucky. So really not a lot going on around the map. We did just get a new severe thunderstorm warning down here in Georgia, though, for 60-mile-per-hour winds, as we do have some general storms firing off and doing the same thing we saw near Tulsa, where they kind of fire off, produce some of those stronger winds, and then fall apart pretty quickly. You will see in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen one of the highways out in Little Rock, Arkansas, where there is a lot of precipitation falling down. So even if your storms that you're in are not severe thunderstorm warned, they can still be producing. You can see some lightning flashes down there too, near Little Rock. They can still produce some damaging wind gusts and generally just a lot of flash flooding risk, as you're going to see all that rain just getting dumped onto the highway there. A lot of folks driving with their hazards on throughout Little Rock there. And that's going to be the trend really all around Tennessee, even North Mississippi, North Alabama, Arkansas, Kentucky. A lot of these areas have just gotten a ton of rain today, and really in the last handful of days as well. But especially today with that MCV that's been driving our severe weather risk today and drove our handful of mini supercells that fired off in Kentucky, plus the one near Evansville, Indiana, that was tornado warned for at least a little bit. So quite a bit going on around the map, but also quite a lot of nothing going on around the map in terms of severe weather. So a lot of storms, not a lot of severe storms, essentially what we're looking at here. Scott says flood in Ruidoso and New Mexico caught my attention. We're heading into monsoon season. Yep. Yes, we are. A lot of rain that you can get down there with areas that don't get much of it sometimes. And that water just can't permeate into the surface very readily, and it just pools and floods so easily. As we do have Argentina versus Switzerland coming up tonight, as England did take down Norway. So right now, our semifinal matchups include France versus Spain, and then we're going to have England versus either Argentina or Switzerland, whoever wins this next match. And from there, all we have is the semis and then the third place game in the final. So we only have 5 matches of the World Cup left, including Argentina versus Switzerland tonight, which is pretty sad, as I've really enjoyed watching it, of course. But I am going to open up the floor. We're probably going to end the broadcast here in a couple minutes, but I did want to open up the floor for anybody to ask any questions about really anything about us and our team and what we're doing. You can ask about the World Cup. I don't really care. Ask about whatever you want, because the map's really quiet right now, and we don't have member-only broadcast Q&As yet, but we will have them eventually. So these Q&As, this is a kind of a rare instance here where we get to chat together on a main broadcast. So if you got any questions for us, definitely let me know. And we do have a really cool camera coming out of Hernando, Mississippi right now, where you can see a beautiful shelf cloud, big old beaver's tail on the top of your screen, by the way. That is just starting to roll on through the area. So again, this is south of Memphis. This is along I-55 here in Hernando, Mississippi. And this should be looking northbound, I think. That's really cool as well. Also in Hernando, Mississippi, beautiful shelf cloud rolling through there. Will I ever have members only broadcasts? Yes, I will, but they're not going to be weather broadcasts. They're going to be more like fun type of stuff, like a Q&A type of thing, or anything like that. How did I find my team? Okay, so the team includes a bunch of people. I've networked like crazy during my college career. So a handful of friends, meteorologists that I graduated with, a former employer, former coworkers. We have so many different people, storm chasers that I've been able to connect with from a variety of different sources. Huh? No, not you guys. Josh. No, yeah, people from different organizations in college as well. Yeah, I'm confused about the difference between humidity and dew point. Can you explain? Yeah, okay, so the dew point is the temperature at which, okay, so let's say you have a temperature going on of 80 degrees, right? Your dew point is the temperature at which water would condense. So if your dew point, for example, was 78, then your 80-degree temperature would have to drop to 78 degrees in order for water to condense onto aerosols or surfaces. So for example, you might get fog if you have aerosols, or at the surface, you might get dew. It can also be your frost point too, depending on how cold it is, of course, if you're sub-freezing. And then humidity is just the percentage, like relative humidity is the percentage of how much water is in the air for compared to saturation. So essentially, if you're looking at a 70% relative humidity, you're seeing that the air is holding 70% of the water vapor that would be necessary to reach saturation. So if that number were to increase to 100%, then your dew point would be equal to your temperature, and therefore you would be able to have saturation and condensation as a result. All right, what's next? I like how you interact with the chat. It's very rare that others do this. It's going to be harder once we get larger and there's more chat messages rolling in, but we're going to have ways to make sure that people can still interact with us. Things like members only chats and broadcasts, or getting, certain Q&As going where people can submit questions, because it's going to be, the chat will be moving too quick eventually, for me to read the messages. Like they'll literally be scrolling too fast for me to read a lot of them. So I'll be able to have our moderators pick out questions and things like that for me to reply to. So we're going to make sure that we interact even as we get larger. Let's see. Is this like a global weather pattern we're in? So there are a lot of teleconnections that drive our global weather. The most famous of which, the most widely known, is ENSO, or the El Nino Southern Oscillation, which is essentially how warm are the waters off of the western coast of South America. And depending on where the warmest waters are and how warm those waters are, as you go west from the western coast of South America, those waters dramatically impact our weather, because they affect water transport, essentially. So the currents that bring that water to other places get dramatically impacted in terms of what is the temperature of that water. And then also the surface temperatures get impacted a little bit in that area, as does the pressure, because water is more inherently difficult to warm than land is. So essentially it takes more energy from the sun to warm like some quantity of water than it does to warm the same quantity of surface area on land, because water is not as good of an absorber of energy. So in the same breath, it also takes longer for water to cool down than it does for land to cool down. So you get into situations where you're looking at the sea breeze, for example. Let's see what else is next. I understand Europe is experiencing the same. Yeah, Europe is, the entire world is impacted by teleconnections, and there's a lot of teleconnections, not just ENSO. There's a lot of them. In the bottom left, by the way, you are going to be seeing a really, really cool looking camera shot there of Memphis. A really cool rain shaft that you can see there. That's at the now full screened on your screen there. Let's see what else. Do I think we'll have a quiet hurricane season this year? I absolutely do. In a super El Nino like this, like they call it, a lot of meteorologists will try to put the fear of God into you and be like, super El Nino, scary words, crazy weather. And really what it means for hurricane season anyway, is that we're going to have a quieter hurricane season in the Atlantic. Now, of course, that's different in the Pacific, but in the Atlantic, where we get most of our hurricanes that significantly impact the United States, where things are going to be a lot quieter. Now, I will say that if we do get one big hurricane, it could be a significant one. But in general, we're not going to have as many hurricanes or tropical storms as we usually do. Are you a degreed meteorologist? Yes, I am. I got my degree this past May, and I am pursuing my master's now. So I'll have a master's in about just under 2 years. So May of 2028, I will graduate with my master's, perhaps sooner. It just depends the way we decide to do things. Let's see. Hopefully I'll not have to see you live tomorrow. Yeah, absolutely. Anytime I'm live, it means generally there's severe weather going on, and that's always not good. But our job is to go live for that severe weather and make sure that, I can't control the weather, obviously. But since it is the way it is, we want to be able to give everybody the best weather information possible. We did get a new severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, down here in Oklahoma. As you can see near Cedar Crest, this is now for Cherokee, Mays, and Wagner counties. 60-mile-per-hour winds and small hail going on out there. I have some pics of a storm. How can I send them to you? Drop them in our Discord, or you can submit them on our website. How is Mint Hill, North Carolina looking? In general, it should be okay. I can make my way on over there. Bear with me. I don't know exactly where Mint Hill is. But in general, in North Carolina, I'm not really that worried about much of anything. There are some generally just standard thunderstorms out here producing some solid lightning near Greenville, Vanceboro, and Washington. But nothing crazy going on in North Carolina. And I'm not expecting anything crazy this evening in North Carolina in general. You are in a marginal risk with a 5% risk for some hail, for some wind damage. But I'm not expecting anything crazy in North Carolina. I think today is not going to be super dramatic. How did El Nino and La Nina get their names? They mean the little boy and the little girl, I believe. I don't know exactly why they were named that way. I was told the story once. I just don't remember it off the top of my head. Legacy Adventures official saying, well, I don't want to join a Discord server. Sorry. Well, that's okay. You don't have to join it. You can also submit weather photos and things like that on our website. Do I hate when people park under the overpass? In general, yes. Yes, I do. It's not good when people park under overpasses, but I will say when it's hailing, if you park on the shoulder, like I'm not going to sit here and scream at you if it's hailing. Now, if it's a wind event or a tornado event and you're parking under an overpass, that's a huge mistake. You're literally creating like a localized area of low pressure where the winds have to accelerate under an overpass. So you're putting yourself in greater danger if you park under an overpass during wind or tornado driven events. Props to the various state DOTs that make their traffic cams real time and available for things like this. Yeah, absolutely. One thing, like out in the Pacific Northwest, almost all of them are really photo cameras that just update periodically. There's a lot less video cameras. But I do have access to cameras in all 50 states, including Alaska and Hawaii, which is cool. Top 5 favorite states? Ooh, okay. I'm not going to go in any particular order here. So like this is not going to be number 1 through 5, but Missouri is going to be on my list. I think it's unbelievably underrated. And obviously I'm biased because I live there, but I love Missouri. I think it's a very, very underrated state. There are a lot of really neat towns. St. Louis is a great town. And as much as I hate Kansas City, it is a cool spot to visit. They do have decent barbecue. Obviously Mizzou is there as well. We have the Arch. We have the St. Louis Zoo, the largest free zoo in the nation. We have Union Station in St. Louis, which has an incredible aquarium. There's a lot more to do in St. Louis than people think. Most people just think it's dangerous. The crime has actually declined significantly over the last 5 years. So Missouri's up there. South Dakota is definitely up there as well. I think South Dakota is absolutely gorgeous. Tennessee is probably in my top 5 also.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
What the? My Alexa just went off. Tennessee is definitely up there as well. So that's definitely those 3 I would say are safely in like the top 3. What other states do I like a lot? I think Colorado's pretty cool. I've barely spent any time in Colorado, but I do think it's really cool. I don't know if it's in my top 5, but I think it's cool. I think Florida's probably in my top 5. Maybe rounding out my top 5 might be Texas and Florida. So Texas, Florida, Missouri, South Dakota, and Tennessee. That might be my top 5. I will say Washington seems like an absolutely gorgeous state, but I've never been there, so I can't put it in my top 5. Okay. I just joined your Discord server. Thanks. You're welcome. Is it starting to heat up again in terms of what? Our severe weather? Not really. We have 4 severe thunderstorm warnings on the map, and I'm not really that worried about any of them, to be honest with you. Mint Hill is near Charlotte. Okay. Yeah, in general, there isn't really anything going on around Charlotte. Let's see if I can find Mint Hill. See if you're right, Scott. I'm not seeing it unless I'm blind, which I am in my left eye. Fun fact. Okay. What the heck are you doing under an overpass during a tornado? Yeah, it's really dangerous. Really, really dangerous. Oh yeah, Idaho also is a state that I've seen photos of. It's absolutely stunning. I would love to go there as well. I have a buddy from Idaho. Wyoming, South Dakota. Yeah, Wyoming was cool. I was only in like far eastern Wyoming, and I didn't even get to go to Devil's Tower. But there wasn't really anything in the areas that we drove through. I'll say that. I haven't gotten the actual Wyoming experience, even though I have been to the state, and I did stay in Cheyenne. Cheyenne was a very nice town. I liked it a lot. I'm surprised you didn't say Michigan. Well, probably because I've never really been to Michigan. I've had layovers in the Detroit airport, and that's it. So I definitely can't put Michigan in there. If Braden, if you're about to say Mississippi, you're out of your mind. What? Oh yeah, I know. No, I mean Nebraska's the joke, but like Nebraska's the joke. But I mean Nebraska's cool. I like the Sand Hills. North Platte is a cool town. Top 5 favorite rare weather phenomena. Okay. That's tough. Rare or just weather phenomena? I mean, I don't even know. If you limit me to just rare weather phenomena. I mean, tornadoes have fascinated me since I was a little kid. It's why I do what I do. So tornadoes are always going to be number 1 for me. I think hurricanes are unbelievably impressive and awe-inspiring. They're just so enormous and powerful. A really, really perfect example in nature of the Carnot engine. I love thunder snow. Thunder snow is a really, really cool phenomenon. Let's see. I know it might be a little stupid, but I'm also a big lightning fan. I know it's so simple, but lightning is, we don't know, for the record, we know very, very, very little about lightning. Like very little. And it's really unpredictable. It's powerful. It's dangerous. It's beautiful looking. So I mean, I think lightning's really cool too. What else do I love? That was 4. I don't know. Probably Mammatus clouds. I mean, I know that's kind of a corny answer. Everybody loves Mammatus clouds, but like they're just beautiful. No red sprites. Yeah, red sprites are very cool. I only recently learned about them in like maybe a year ago or so. And that's another thing we know like nothing about. Idaho is supposed to be gorgeous too. Yeah. Do I know that the reason interstates was created is to keep our jets from being discovered? Yeah, the interstates were created entirely for military purposes. Yeah, Montana was really beautiful, but I will say I've just scratched the surface of Montana. Like I was only in extreme southeastern Montana. I've never explored the rest of it. And I know western Montana is way different than eastern Montana, where I was at. Thunder snow can be scary though. It generates almost all positive lightning too. Red sprites, blue jets, gigantic jets, pixies, gnomes, trolls. What? Christopher says, I'm in the lower part of Michigan, but the UP is awesome, especially at Mack Island. Interesting. Yeah, I would love to get up to Michigan. I've hardly touched it. All right, I do have a photo to show from the southeast. I don't know exactly when this was taken, but very nice photo here of some clouds being top lit by the sunlight there. Some nice trees in the foreground as well. It's definitely a really beautiful photo there. Sent in by Legacy Adventures Official. That was a few minutes ago. Well, thank you very much for sending that in. Is there anything going towards Hopkinsville, Kentucky? Probably. It's been decently active out here in Kentucky. Let's take a look. Hopkinsville itself, a couple of scattered storms in your area, although it looks like you might actually be kind of out of the woods for the time being. But you'll probably get some more storms later this evening. Okay, most fun weather rabbit holes are TLEs and atmospheric optics. Yeah, that stuff has not sparked like my interest enough to go down those rabbit holes, but I know someday it will get me. One day I will end up deep into that rabbit hole. Bad or not in Hopkinsville, you'll be okay. I'm not expecting anything too bad out there at all. But yeah, do we have I'm gonna check in really quick on Arizona near Tucson. This is Pinal County and Pima counties that we're looking at here. So just some general stronger storms out here, nothing crazy, maybe a little bit of small hail near Oracle. But I'm not expecting anything crazy out here. This is really just 60-mile-per-hour winds with these. And then back into Georgia, we have another one for Brooks, Colquitt, and Thomas counties. 60-mile-per-hour winds with this one. Just a handful of storms out here pushing out some of those winds. A little bit of that downbursting scenario. There are no wall clouds in Kentucky as far as I know. Yeah. There have not been any reports of a wall cloud anywhere near you in Hopkinsville, as far as I can tell anyway. Nothing crazy, just 60-mile-per-hour wind. Yeah, I mean, this is fair. General strong thunderstorms that can produce a little bit of damage. All right. Do we have if anybody's got any other questions about us or meteorology related, definitely happy to answer them. Again, this is a somewhat rare moment where we actually can talk about things like this, as usually on our broadcast, things are a lot busier. We will be ending off the broadcast somewhat soon. A lot of stronger winds, by the way, here near just west of Cedar Crest in Oklahoma. So that's definitely one to watch. In the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, you are taking a look at Mississippi. Some general thunderstorms in that area. Thoughts on herbal teas? I don't really have any thoughts on herbal teas, to be honest with you. All right, Christopher, thank you very much for tuning in tonight. Enjoy the rest of your night. Yeah, I don't really have any thoughts for you on herbal teas, to be honest with you. Guessing that's the end of the broadcast. Shortly. Yeah, definitely shortly here. I think we'll go another 15 minutes. Cruz saying, dude, I might be cooked. I don't think you're cooked, brother. You're just dealing with some generally chill storms. There's really nothing in your area at all near killing, actually. Just some general storms headed your way, though. You gonna be just fine. Not even storms. I crashed an e-bike. Oh, that's unfortunate. What are 3 things you'd want the most when stranded on a deserted island? Oh gosh. It depends. Like, okay, if I'm going to be stranded on the deserted island permanently and I can never leave, there's never any hope of me leaving. I'm stuck there permanently. One of those items has to be like, ideally my future wife, because you can't allow the population to die. I would not be willing to allow the world to end. So, beautiful shelf cloud, by the way, being shown on your screen here, from Mississippi. This should be looking either northbound or westbound here, but this is a really, really beautiful shelf cloud there. But yeah, 3 things I would bring to an island. That's one of them, because I would not be willing to let the population end with me. That's selfish. The other 2 things, oh gosh, dude. What are the 2 most important things, like, for me to bring? Good Lord. You would think, like, I don't even know. Like, you need fire, right? So, like, a lighter might be really important. A bed. And I could build a bed. I could build a bed. I could find food. Wi-Fi. Yeah, right. My entire studio. That would be number 2. My entire studio. Play. Yeah, I don't know. Like, a lighter really, I feel like, makes a lot of sense. It's a simple item, but it's really, really important to be able to have fire, since obviously electronics are not on the table here. Really, a bunch of beautiful shelf cloud views we can see on the left-hand side of your screen, by the way. And this is out in Mississippi. I'll go ahead and put this on the screen here for you. There's the radar. Chukasoba, good evening to you. Yeah, a lighter is pretty important. Maybe like a really good knife or something, like a really good blade. And then the rest, I'm just out there, dude. You'd have 4 hands on deck, because I chose a person as one of my items. So you'd have 4 hands on deck, and you'd have a couple of useful tools, and you could probably survive with that. Okay. Would I rather live a place that I'm close to a shelter, or live out in the middle of nowhere where there's not really anywhere you can take shelter from a tornado? Well, I feel like that's a pretty easy question. I'd rather live where there's a shelter. All right. The clouds are dark in Hopkinsville. Yeah, it makes sense, but you'll be okay. Nothing crazy going on out there in Hopkinsville. What are my favorite things to do when I'm not working on weather-related things? Great question. These days, I don't really do much else. This is all I do right now, because it's, I'm working 12 to 16-hour days a lot of the time, and usually working 7 days a week. But I like to play guitar. I like to sing. I like to hang out with my friends, drive around. What else? I mean, I like to play video games, but I haven't really done much of that in the last like 3 or 4 months. A really cool view here, by the way, in Dumas, Arkansas, that we're taking a look at. What else? What else do I do? I mean, I play soccer too sometimes. I was a big soccer guy. throughout my entire life. And I still do MLS analysis as well for St. Louis City SC. Let's see. Bugnet. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no tornadoes in Hopkinsville. You'll be okay. I'm getting ready to get hammered with some rain. We need it. Yeah, a lot of areas need rain. A lot of them. And a lot of them are getting rain. Then again, I could make a shelter too. Truth. Nice view of Arkansas. Yeah, it is a very, very cool view we're looking at here in Arkansas. If I had to choose between my entire studio and unlimited free guitars, which would I pick? My studio, for sure. It's a silly question. I can use the studio to eventually afford a couple of guitars. I don't need free ones. Sharon saying, goodbye, good night, blessings to you. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your night and stay safe. And again, for anyone who hasn't already, the number one way you can support us is just by liking and subscribing. So if you haven't already, leave a like on the broadcast before you guys head out and subscribe to us if you haven't. Best thing that you can do to help us out. And I'd be incredibly grateful for it. As these storms are really, really moving out here in Arkansas. A really cool view that we've got on the screen here. I played soccer when I was like 5 and someone kicked the ball into my nose. I never went back. Fair enough. How many times a day do I get the Wonderwall request? Never. Never. Because it won't happen. It will not happen. Maybe one of these days I'll go into like our local guitar shop up here near my house and just completely mess with them, start playing Wonderwall. Or Enter Sandman or something. Oh, Cruz with the $2 super chat saying, I like supporting people. My bank hurts right now. I feel you, dude. Mine does too. Thank you very much, Cruz, for the $2 super chat. I really appreciate that, man. What was the biggest tornado I've ever chased? The biggest tornado for sure was the Bogachita tornado. That was a mile-wide EF3 back in May 6th, down in Mississippi. That was a crazy tornado. It was rain-wrapped, really technical chase. Reed Timmer and I were some of the only people that were on that storm. There was probably less than 20 chasers anywhere near that storm. Really, really technical chase. Marcus, I see you in the chat. Good to see you. What are 3 words I think most accurately describe my high school experience? Interesting question. 3 words that most accurately describe my high school experience. What's up, Blake? Where? Is it? Oh, it was like the guy under the overpass. Oh, we have a little bit of a car accident here near Fayetteville, Arkansas, by the way, that we're showing here on camera right now. See in the top left-hand corner of your screen. It looks like that guy fell off the road. I mean, he's really in that ditch. Like that car is like absorbed in there. So I hope everybody's all right. Yeah. Three words that accurately describe my high school experience. Goodness, that's a tough one. Oh, man. Sorry, I had to reset, so I missed your answer about the biggest tornado chase for you. It was the Bogachita tornado back in May, a mile-wide EF3 down there in Mississippi. Rain-wrapped, crazy tornado. Am I ever going to get Reed Timmer as a chaser? Maybe. We'll see. Subtle foreshadowing, maybe. I'm really stuck on this 3 words to describe my high school experience. I really don't know. I mean, roller coaster has got to be one of those words. A lot of ups and downs. Roller coaster. Roller coaster. That's got to be one of them. I think that's a good one. I think I saw that Timur is in Japan. Yes, he is. He is in Ishigaki, Japan, I believe. Three words to describe my high school experience. I don't know. Roller coaster is definitely one of them, though. I don't know if I can. Yeah, maybe clicky a little bit. Maybe I could say like roller coaster, clicky, and sports or something like that might be okay. Was that the day several pretty intense tornadoes hit Mississippi? Yes, May 6th, there were a handful of solid tornadoes. And that Bogachita storm, by the way, was a tornado emergency storm. That was a very, very intense storm. Will, this is my second time on here. I like how you're down to earth and give total facts. I greatly appreciate that, mad respect. Well, thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much. Yeah, Pettis, these overlays look awesome, dude. Man, they look really good. What's my motivation for chasing storms? That's a great question. So I think storm chasers are not only valuable, but they're necessary and needed. The problem is when people start going and chasing for chasing the money and chasing the clicks and the clout. That's where you get into problems, because the reality is that storm chasers do things that can't be done just by the National Weather Service. For example, the National Weather Service can't just magically teleport to where a tornado or a storm capable of producing a tornado is and be able to instantly know whether or not you have a tornado on the ground and can confirm that. They also can't get visuals on all of these storms all the time. Traffic cameras can only do so much. And so storm chasers are incredibly important for getting good weather information out from the National Weather Service. So that is my motivation for doing it. I also like to be, one of the realities also is that storm chasers are often the first ones on the scene when a tornado passes through an area. And sometimes it's not just, somebody's house out in the plains that gets hit. Sometimes it's a fire station, and then first responders can't get to other folks who need help. And so storm chasers can, because they're already there. They can help. And so that's one of my motivations as well, is to be able to help people. Obviously, storm chasers are not first responders. They should not act like first responders. But they definitely can help until first responders get there. And so that's one of the major motivations as well. Am I watching the World Cup? It's not on right now. Argentina is going to be starting Argentina versus Switzerland is going to be starting up here in like 5 minutes. So I will be watching that. And we are going to end the broadcast here in just a couple minutes as well, as we literally have nothing going on around the map, which is a good thing. I meant, are there any teachers that dislike you or that I disliked in high school? In high school? I don't think so. I don't think I had any teachers that disliked me or that I disliked particularly. Honestly, like I was really lucky, genuinely. I had great teachers in high school. All right. And then there's those chasing who don't know what they're doing. It's creating more of a dangerous situation. Yeah, absolutely. Again, the people who don't need to be out there should not be out there. Like, just because there's storms near you that could produce a tornado does not mean you need to get in your car and go chase them. Like, let people with degrees or with a lot of experience, you don't have to have a degree to be a good meteorologist or chaser, but let the people who have the experience or the degree or whatever it may be, and who are there actually providing that service to the National Weather Service and to the public, let them be the ones out there chasing. Because the more people who get out there who are just there to like, oh, I just want to see a tornado, it becomes really dangerous, really, really dangerous for people who are really trying to do good in the community. Saying we are not in a slight anymore in Tennessee. See if maybe they upgraded a couple of things, it looks like. Or not upgraded, but changed the outlook, perhaps. I don't think it's updated on my website just yet. sometimes it takes just a couple of minutes for us to update. Yeah, for today, they have gotten rid of all of the severe weather risk for everywhere except Oklahoma, Arkansas, and northern Mississippi here. So with this line segment of storms that we're looking at is the only severe weather risk that remains on the map. Plus, of course, southern Arizona. Lydia has to head out. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping in. What is the next chance of storms like on this map for Iowa going to be? Iowa could definitely get some storms. I think, what's it going to be? As we roll forward into like next week, I think Tuesday or Wednesday maybe. But again, Iowa's going to be pretty calm for at least the next couple of days. So decent weather out there. A lot of the country is going to be pretty calm the next couple of days. Would I rather not be able to eat chicken for the rest of my life or not be able to eat beef? Oh, that's like impossible. That's like actually an impossible question. That is actually really a tough question. Chicken or beef? One, I can't have one for the rest of my life. I mean, I love steak, but like I also love Raising Cane's. Like I'm a major advocate for Raising Cane's. Man. That's tough. I don't even know if I could decide that. I'm not going to lie. I think I would just have to flip a coin and live with that decision. I think maybe I would lean towards chicken. So like I would not have chicken for the rest of my life and make sure that I could have beef. Because I think beef is maybe a little more versatile. There are more variants of beef, you know? Whereas chicken is just chicken. Like you got your thighs and your wings and your breast, and that's about it. Whereas with beef, there's a lot more cuts. So maybe that's what I would do. Soccer coach? I don't know what you mean by that. If that is a question in terms of will I ever coach soccer, definitely possible. If you're asking who my favorite coach is, I don't know if I really actually have a favorite coach, to be honest with you. I mean, Pep Guardiola is one of the better coaches of all time. Jurgen Klopp's awesome. I've really come to like Johan Demay with St. Louis City also. I think he's a really good coach. Willow the Wisp saying, thank you for responding. Hope you don't mind. Have you completed first aid courses or other training that can prepare you for when you're first on the scene? Responders may take time. Yeah, so I am CPR certified. And I know basic first aid, but I haven't gotten like full first aid certifications or anything like that, but I am CPR certified. Yeah, I know. Gomez, yeah, you're talking about some of my coaches from the past. Yeah. Gomez and Comans were both great coaches that I had when I was younger. What there's times that you wanted to go outside where there was a tornado there in high school? Or was there times, I guess is what you meant? I mean, yes, there was, I mean, anytime there's severe weather, I didn't want to be stuck in a building when I was younger. Best tornado movie ever so far and why? I personally love the movie Into the Storm. That movie is really, really good. Now, Twister is the newest one is really good as well. The original Twister is a classic, but obviously, you know, they were a lot limited in what they could do back then. I think Into the Storm is a really, really good movie, though. I enjoy that movie a lot. Very entertaining. Good character development, good plot. It's at least remotely realistic. Like, and I don't mean the meteorology. I mean the way people do things in the movie and the way like the characters react to certain scenarios is pretty realistic. The meteorology behind it is, of course, you know, it's a movie. But that would be a terrible decision to have to make, chicken or beef. Yeah, no, exactly. I don't know if I could live my life without canes, but if I had no choice, you know, I think I would choose to not have chicken versus not having beef, just because beef is so much more versatile. Was there an event of some sort in Philly today? Multiple trees down, power lines, etc. There were a couple of stronger storms that rolled through Pennsylvania, but nothing crazy out there at all. I'm pretty surprised to hear that there were power lines down and trees down, but there were definitely a couple of stronger storms out in Philly. You'll see still a handful of stronger storms out here in East Pennsylvania, but yeah, I'm a little surprised to hear that there were storms bringing down power lines and trees today in Philly. Into the Storm is really good. Yeah, I agree. I love that movie. I think that is definitely my favorite tornado movie or weather movie of all time. Do I think the Twister's idea of killing a tornado is viable in the real world? In theory, this is actually a really good question. There's a lot of layers to it. In theory, there are ways where, like, if there was a certain thing we could do to cut off a certain piece of a certain ingredient for a storm, that we could suffocate a storm in theory. Now, we don't have the research, we don't have the technology, we don't have the power to do something like that, or even know what those variables exactly might be yet. But it's not incredibly far-fetched that something, like that could in theory happen. Now, I will say that'll probably never be allowed to happen for reasons I won't get into for my own public interest and safety. But in theory, it's technically possible that with increased research or further research and increased technological capability, that one day that something like that could be feasible. That's not entirely outside of the realm of possibility. It is entirely outside of the realm of near future possibility, though. That would be more of like maybe a decade or two from now, probably. Unless AI just really helps us learn things about the atmosphere that we never thought possible in the past. On the new Twisters, I didn't really like the wild style chaser. I think it promoted a lot of what we see today in Waze. I agree. Yeah, but I will say it did. In some way, it made people care about the weather more because all of a sudden they found it, cool. The movie did good things. It definitely did some good things. But I agree with you, like that wild style. But what you'll notice is that the entire point of, oh my gosh, I don't remember the guy's name. I mean, I know the actor is Glenn Powell. I don't remember the actual character's name. But you'll notice that the whole purpose of his character was that he was kind of misunderstood. And all of that, like, crazy, stuff was kind of a facade. And what he really wanted to do was good. He really wanted to just do good for the community. It was like kind of slipped in subtly that all of like the stuff they sell and everything, all of that goes into disaster relief. And that's honestly what I want to do. Like, my goal is to give 100% of merch proceeds to disaster relief. Right now we're doing 20%. And as soon as we are a sustainable business, that number will immediately go up until it's at 100%. I gave up beef mostly. I only eat it like twice a year. You get used to it. I stopped craving anything except the occasional burger, thus a couple times a year. Fair enough. I don't know if I could ever do that, but I respect you. Will of the Wisp saying, thank you. I'm going to watch the quarterfinal Argentina versus Switzerland. Yeah, that is 5 minutes in. Fair enough. Enjoy the rest of your night. We are going to be ending off the broadcast here in just a minute as well. Same thing happened with the original Twister too. Yeah. Yeah, people see those types of movies and they care a lot more about meteorology. I got a cool photo to show really quick from the Nashville area. This was cool, sent in to me by James Pettis. Very, very well known in the meteorology space. Yeah, this is a very, very cool photo here. You can see that shelf cloud off in the distance. Some of those aquamarines coming in at the bottom of your screen here, indicative of a little bit of a elevated hail type of situation going on. There's just a little bit of small hail up there for sure. That was a really cool photo. Appreciate Mr. James Pettis for sending that in. New overlay is fire. Thank you very much. That's Jessica Moore in the chat, by the way. If you don't subscribe to her, you should. She's one of our meteorologists and storm chasers here. I can't eat beef. I have a meat allergy. That's unfortunate. I feel bad for you. Oh, we ended up staying live. Yes, we have been live for a while, but I am actually ending the broadcast pretty much right now. New overlay is gas. Norman in the chat, one of our other incredible storm chasers as well. Appreciate that, Norman. All right, I will say, if you haven't already, liking and subscribing is the #1 thing you can do to support us, as we have a beautiful view of a little bit of a sunset going on out here in Perryville, Missouri. Out in Perryville, Missouri, by the way, is Mary Jane's Burgers and Brews, phenomenal burger joint. If you haven't already, like and subscribe, best thing you can do to support us. I really appreciate everybody tuning in this evening, but we are going to be ending off the broadcast here. We will possibly be going live tomorrow to cover the severe weather. And then we'll most likely be off on Monday with a new forecast video coming out on Tuesday. So a lot of big things coming. Thank you all for helping me be a little bit of guinea pigs with the new overlay. I think it's going amazing. I love this thing. I think it looks absolutely stunning. Everybody have a great rest of your night. Stay safe out there, and we will see you guys all